Hey folks, it's Brooklyn Lou the Skeptic. And today I wanted to do a live stream and invite anyone on who wants to talk about something that I find kind of scandalous within the atheist online community. And let me give you a little background. All right, I found out a while back that at Nanocon in 2025, there was an incident that happened that was very disturbing. And what occurred was Nancy, one of the apostate sisters, was someone who I had very limited limited contact with, but I was on her channel along with her sister Patty quite a long time ago, when I was a real small beginning YouTuber. And they were very nice. And I found out that she actually put out a notarized statement saying that she was sexually assaulted and strangled at Nanocon by another content creator and a pretty influential person in the community. Online community, that is. And I was very, very surprised, extremely surprised. So going forward, I was looking at various reports of this, and I seen some people trying to kind of brush it, push it under the table. And I didn't like that. Seemed exactly what I have seen in religious institutions that are trying to cover up for powerful people. In fact, it was a step-by-step blueprint that I've seen over and over again. And I didn't like that. Also, at the same time, I was getting other information from other people saying that, this definitely happened. And it was a horrible thing, and it was trying to be covered up. So I looked at it for months, and I tried to look at all of the information that was out there. I looked at the statement. I looked at different videos covering it. And that's where I saw the clear pattern. It was, to me, very apparent that there was a campaign going on to make it so people didn't hear about this and to try to cover reputations. So it really bothered me. Now, I'm going to open this up to different people. That's the purpose of me doing a live stream. I like to be open. And if you come in, I'm going to have a couple of rules. And that's going to be number one, we don't want to curse like a maniac. Okay. I don't mind curse words. You can curse, but I don't want an attack on other people and where it gets really crazy. That I will not allow. Okay. And I want everyone to try to keep it civil. I don't need this to be a circus or a spectacle. So I want everyone to be, at least behave decently, be good human beings. All right. And other than that, I'd like to open it up. I have a co-host. I want to bring him in if he's here. Hold on. Let me see. No, he's not here yet. So when he comes in, that'll be fine. It'll be Scott from The Mirror. And he's a good buddy of mine. He is an atheist. And for anyone who doesn't know, I am definitely an atheist. But I am also a free thinker. And that means I don't go to other people to tell me how to think. I actually think through things myself. So let me open this up to anyone who wants to come in and chat about it. Hold on. first I'm going to go. Oh, by the way, I want to take people one at a time because I can't think that fast. I'm 63 years old. Okay. So one at a time would be nice. Let's talk and let's not let it get crazy out of control where we talk forever. So make your point, give your opinion. We'll talk a little bit and then kindly make room for someone else. So the first person I got here is Logan. So I want to invite Logan in.
I'm up. Logan,
the independent atheist. How are you?
That's just what I am.
Me too. I am not a part of any political party, any atheist organizations, any, I'm just an independent actor. So.
Right.
So are you aware of what was going on?
Oh, yes, sir. I got involved in this. I think it was early January. The details are kind of fuzzy for me now. I used to remember them. I'm like you. I'm 61. But there's this guy named Kentucky Atheist.
Yes, I'm familiar with him. I did a stream with him once a while back,
and somehow I got notification that he was doing a stream, and I was like, oh, because I'm in Kentucky. So I clicked on him, and this stuff came up, and they mentioned pocket lockers material. So I went and looked at that, and I think the first thing that stuck out to me was the people on the line did a stream New Year's Eve, and Matt Dillahunty called this drama. And I kind of went, that sounds like you're shaming the victim. So I went and investigated it all, and as much as I could. And I've been sort of investigating in and out. Most of the things I get came from either Pocket Locker or AJ Ruley is on the pro Elliott side. Got stuff from her, and this guy named Michael Beverly got involved, and unfortunately he had some dark stuff in his past, and I think he's scum now myself, but he did do some good investigation.
Yes.
So I've been browsing at his stuff, and but he has eliminated all his material, and it's just mostly, from what I've concluded, just like you. I mean, I was going through anything I've screenshot today, and it is a lot of, I don't believe Nancy because she was wanting this. She was acting like a SLUT, and she wanted all this. And we got Arden Hart and Ben Tormenson or something like that from the line. They basically said that they're like, I would have believed her if I wouldn't have seen how she was acting. That has nothing to do with it. They also talk about conflicting statements she gave and how she kept contact with Elliott. And, as Michael Beverly pointed out and linked to, there is no one set way a victim will behave. And staying in contact with the alleged assailant does not mean that action did not occur. So nothing they were saying actually demonstrated. And the earliest, she admitted this that night to somebody. She went to a guy named Drew Beckius. Since he's a public figure, I'm going to name him. And at first he seemed very sympathetic to her. And he states that he saw the fear in her eyes, within minutes of the incident occurring. And that he went down the next morning and had to look Elliott in the eye and pretend like he didn't know anything. And it's just amazing that they've just gone on with this narrative that she's a liar. We believe Elliott, and we have her testimony. We have nothing from Elliott. Elliott has claimed that he was so intoxicated he doesn't remember the incident, so he can't even defend himself. But we do have a text. I do have a text from him somewhere that says he was talking with Nancy, and he says he remembers or thinks that he shoved her head into the wall.
That was said by him?
Yeah. to her.
Yeah, that's not too good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to label all these. And he Elliot sent a message to, oh crap, that's taking up all my screen. He sent him, they had a group text going on, and he says, they've concluded that the video does not match her statement. So what they saw was her, in all likelihood, even people that support her, say that yes, she was pursuing him. I don't care. I don't care what she was doing. I don't
Me
care.
neither, Logan. I don't care either. Honestly, I don't care.
But here is a blatant lie, because there is no video evidence exonerating the incident itself.
Yes.
People took this thing from Elliot Martin's Secularity as if it was gospel. Oh, there's video proving he didn't do anything. No, there's not.
Yeah, I think I mean my take on it from what I'm hearing and what I've looked at, obviously there was something going on between Nancy and Elliot at this convention.
Mhm.
All right. That to me is private business. That's just, if they were flirting, if they were kissing and all that, I don't care. It's not my business at all. All right. But obviously something bad happened. All right. If it was good, we wouldn't be talking about it. Right. Something happened.
Yep.
All right. So it was obviously something terrible that happened. And even both of them was saying that. I mean, it wasn't like one was saying something bad happened and the other one said, oh, nothing happened at all. It obviously something bad happened. Now, exactly what happened, I agree, we don't know. I mean, nobody was there other than them two.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about when it moved into the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't there. I don't know, but I can't figure out why. To me, there would be no reason for Nancy to make up this story. I mean, it seems like she was trying to defend him afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why she would just make this stuff up. I don't know what would be her incentive. No idea. So I think something must have happened, and she was trying to kind of keep things together and try to, let it go. But later on, she did call the police, or law enforcement, and they came out. And, one of the things that bugs me about the whole thing is there was this internal investigation by this guy, Elliot Cantor.
Uh-huh.
I don't know any of these people personally. I'm just saying. But Elliot Cantor was part of the whole convention, and he's part of that whole group of people that were putting on the convention. And he seems to be close to the person who is the accused.
Mm-hmm.
They have a relationship. So I can't take any investigation done by him or those people as being unbiased at all. I can't see it as valid. It's like I said in the video I just put out. If a church pastor is accused of something terrible, and then they might bring in the associate pastor to investigate, no, not looking good, right? So basically, I'm calling out the pattern of doing exactly what I see other corrupt institutions do when it comes to someone in their circle being accused of something really bad. And that's really what I'm concerned about, And I don't know anything anyone else, doesn't have the ability to see. Any public information is all I have.
Mhm.
right? But I think it's awful to start saying like Nancy's a liar. I think that's just terrible, because obviously, when you get into trauma and victims, especially SA type victims, we're talking about people that do tell different things. It's very natural because they're in a state of trauma, and the whole thing was obviously traumatic.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how anyone could deny that. It was, obviously a traumatic experience, whatever took place.
Yeah.
So I don't like people coming against her and calling her a liar. I think that's awful. So, that's where I'm coming from on that. And I don't have anything, I try to call it the way I see it, Logan.
Yeah.
Right. I don't, like I said, I'm not part of any atheist group at all. I mean, I have no axe to grind with any particular people. All right. In fact, I was going to be doing an interview with SR. Okay. And I canceled it the day after I found out that there was this statement by Nancy. And I canceled it. Not because I knew everything that happened, okay, because I still don't know everything that happened, but it was because I didn't want to be associated with any of that.
Right.
I didn't want to I didn't want to be in a situation where I was supporting something that I was totally unaware of. So I canceled it. And I don't give a crap personally about like appeasing people. That's not my thing. All right. I'm not into the, I'm going to be popular because I cling on to other popular people.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how old you are, Logan, but I'm too old for that. I mean, I don't really care, It's like, if I'm going to be popular at all, it's going to be based on my free thinking and what I think. It's not going to be based that I think like somebody else, So, but anything else you would like to share?
Not really. I mean, unless somebody has questions about something. I didn't know if you were paying attention to their chat.
No. Here's the thing, by the way, anyone.
You can't miss
I am only seeing some chat that's coming in on StreamYard. I'm not seeing chat on YouTube.
Okay. Well, I think Elliot Cantor might be here. So
okay. Well,
I don't know if he wants to come up, but
I have no problem talking to him. I've never met him, and he can come on and speak if he'd like. Elliot, if you're there, you can pop in. Here's the link. I'll put the link. Here we go. There's the link for anyone who wants to pop in. I got a few people obviously waiting.
I mean, I do know that Elliot and maybe some of the others will say, well, there's secret documents. Well,
yeah,
I don't have access to them.
Me neither.
I mean, make all this public that you can legally make public.
Yeah, I don't have documents. I don't have secret information.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So this is from a paper by. You can find it on somewhere on Pocket Locker's videos. He has a ton of links, but this is talking about the evidence and talking about alleging it was false. And supposedly, don't know for sure, the police said, "Oh well, you can get her back for false reporting," which is a very, very small percentage of all rape allegations are false. And
yes.
They said that based on the evidence and subsequent convictions of the offenders, the assaults actually did occur. Yet in each of all these in each of these cases, the investigators believed they have evidence of a false report based on misconceptions about sexual assault and perceived inconsistencies or false statements by the victim. I mean,
Yeah.
even when police say that, oh, we think it's a false report, they could be wrong. But people just take that police statement as gospel.
Yeah. I mean, what I think about reports, like a police report, obviously the law enforcement didn't arrest or prosecute, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think that says all that much, because most cases of SA are not prosecuted and arrests are not made in most. So I don't know what that proves. Anyway, Elliot is here, so I'm gonna take him on.
Okay.
Appreciate him coming. Hey, Elliot.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, it's nice to meet you, by the way. As we know, we've never met each other, so.
That's correct.
Yeah. So anyway, you definitely have some information, hopefully, to share. I just know what is out there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything that we're missing?
Well, there's a lot of information you're wrong about. So
what is it?
I don't know what you're missing. Okay.
All right, what am I wrong?
Well, let me help you with that. I had nothing to do with the I'll tell you. I had nothing to do with the convention last year, other than the fact.
Hold on. I want to give you. Hello. I want to give you every bit of conversation. I just want to hear you. That's all. I don't want to miss what you're saying. So go ahead. I'm going to try to pay attention.
Last year, in 2025, I was not an organizer of the convention. I was not on the board. I had nothing to do with how the convention was put together. I didn't know Elliot Martin before that day that I met him that Saturday, actually, for a couple minutes when we were in line to eat. He's not an ally. He's not a friend. He's not a business partner. I had absolutely no relationship with him whatsoever.
And I appreciate hearing that, and I believe you. So.
Thank you for saying that. Okay, so let me add some color. I happened to be at Nanocon last year by happenstance. My mother-in-law had passed away. We were in Atlanta, which is where she used to reside. We were driving back to the West Coast at the same time Nanocon was occurring. I hadn't been involved with Nanocon for about 4 or 5 years. I called up the gentleman who's the executive director and said, listen, because you're doing an overnight event, let me put together a code of conduct, because I've been doing these kind of things most of my life. And let me put a code of conduct together, and let's talk about a process and get it instituted before the start of the convention. I wrote the code of conduct. I attached my name and my phone number on the website to the code of conduct. We had handouts at the front door of the code of conduct with my name and phone number on it. There was a poster board at the front door with the code of conduct. On the back of everybody's name tag was a barcode with my name and phone number that would drive to my name and phone number in case anybody had an issue. In the first 10 minutes of the general session on Saturday morning, I talked about the code of conduct and gave examples of exactly what that is. So to say that we didn't have a code of conduct is fallacious. It's not an accurate statement. Not only did we have a code of conduct, we had a fairly robust process, probably more robust than most conventions in general. Now, having said all that, our volunteers were identified with lanyards that if anything happened, to reach me immediately. The reason that the process worked was because a witness on Sunday morning, I'm guessing it was about 10 of 8, called me because they had that information on the website and told me that there had been an incident that occurred the prior evening. Within 10 minutes, I had interviewed that witness and another witness who had been a first-hand account of some information, and within an hour had interviewed the person who made the allegation, who had the issue. I'm not going to go into all the information with you.
Elliot, I'm kind of losing you. I don't know why. Hopefully you can pop back in. You just froze. There you go. Hold on. All right. All right, you froze.
Okay, I'm back. Anyway, I'm not going to go all the information right now, other than to say this. Well, let me give you a little bit more. I visited with my attorney last week because there's been such a breach of confidentiality. You're an example of that.
In what way?
Well, because a lot of information got out that wasn't released by me.
I didn't release any information whatsoever.
Well, you released information that you got from that's been online from either Patty or Nancy.
No, I didn't.
Either from, well, of course you did, because the
I did
information
not.
that you said.
Listen.
Let me finish. Can I finish?
No, but you're coming saying I'm doing something, just like I'm asking you to tell me the truth. I'm telling you I'm not releasing information. All I did was comment. I made one video commenting my personal thoughts about what I've seen and heard. I don't know how you get that as an invasion of anybody.
I didn't say that. I said you've released information, but you can have your perspective. Allow me the courtesy of having mine.
Of course, but I didn't release any information.
We have a different perspective about that, Lou.
Well, show me where I released information. It's not a perspective.
Let me finish. Let me finish my train of thought, and let me finish my train of thought, and then I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
So, thank you. We did there has been this issue that really is two parts. What actually happened at Nanocon and everything else. What happened at Nanocon was an event that I investigated based on the information I had. I did a fair investigation, following up with the person who made the allegation regularly. I have a text stream of that information, which has not been released. I have emails. I have an audio of exactly what that investigation entailed. And then I made a conclusion, which I reported to the board. And they took my recommendation. I am an independent consultant. I'm not paid. I'm a volunteer. I have no compensation. I pull a thread wherever it goes, regardless of where it goes. And I complete whatever it is I have to complete. And I do whatever I have. Like you said, Lou, you're not beholden to anybody. I think you said you're a 62-year-old guy. It goes where it goes. You do what you do. Yeah. I'm a 75-year-old guy. I do what I do. I do what I relate to you. Okay, then you and I are in the same length. I do what I do. It goes where it goes. I did not have a dog in that hunt other than to try and get to the truth. Let's identify what I do, because there seems to be confusion about this, and maybe I can help a little with this. I'm an independent consultant that's there to protect the conference, in the sense that if something occurs and I can create a solution immediately to protect the conference, I do that if I can come to a successful conclusion. When the conference was over, which was about an hour after this whole investigation had started to had kind of wrapped up, when the conference is over, I'm done. I am not a law enforcement officer. I am not a DA. It's not my job to do state of mind or anything like that. It's not what I do. If an event occurs and the conference is over, I'm really essentially done. I don't do a bunch of work and then hand it over to law enforcement unless they subpoena it. But short of that, that's not my role. It's not what I do. I've never claimed that's what I do. So there seems to be some misinformation about that. So relative to the conclusion, I interview who I have to interview about a particular issue that occurs at a conference. When the conference is over, essentially, I'm done. Okay? I'm not trying to find every piece of information relative to things outside that particular issue. And when I'm finished, I'm finished. I communicate that information to the appropriate people. There's been some concern about transparency. I told the people that needed to know, which were the people who make the allegation, potentially the person who I interview that may be the perpetrator of the allegation, and the board. Short of that, that information will never get into the public's eye. Just like the dozens and hundreds of other investigations I've done that nobody knows anything about because they're not supposed to. There's a right to privacy on everybody's part. So I guess what I wanted to correct the record about was what I do, what I saw, that I don't have a relationship with any of the people that you said I did, because that's inaccurate. But I appreciate your having me on. I appreciate your having me on to clear that up. That's fine.
And that's why I wanted you to come on. But I will ask, do you have any relationship with the conference? Do you have a relationship or no relationship?
At the time of the investigation, no.
What about now?
I was on the board for about 3 months in a temporary position. Once someone left the board, I have resigned that position. So my sole responsibility to the conference again will be as the consultant, which I will be for this conference in a couple of weeks. So I will be the consultant.
Okay, so we can, I am fair to say, and I'm quoting you, you do have a relationship with the conference right now.
As the consultant to do any of, as it relates to the code of conduct process. That's
but that's a relationship. Is that correct?
Sure. Oh, sure. It would be the same with any conference that I've done as the consultant who does the code of conference. That would be my relationship. Now, I am a founder of this conference. Absolutely. 14 years ago.
That's a relationship.
Absolutely, positively. But it's not a financial relationship. There was never any financial position. There was never any remuneration ever. And I hadn't been a part of the conference or the organization for 5 years prior to when I came last year. So at that time, other than being the consultant, there was no relationship at all. So when I came back, am I still a founder from 12 years ago? Was I still on the board? Absolutely. Does that have anything to do with the conference? Well, you'd probably have to go to every college and university and say the people that do the investigations in those organizations have a relationship. You'd have to go to every retail organization probably in the country and go, the people that do those investigations have a relationship because they're hired. So in small organization like ours, where we volunteer to do things, do we multitask? Yeah. Do we have a relationship? Yeah. I think it's fair to say, yes, I've had a relationship. Does it impact my ability to do a full and fair investigation? Like I said, I'm going to wind up doing a stream on Tuesday where I was starting to mention, I visited with my attorney the other day because I think a lot of information came out, and I think that breach has occurred. And I'm going to release.
Oh, I lost you again, but please come back.
Yeah, I already have questions. I don't know if I'll get to ask them, but like Joel said in the chat, What was that? What
All
was that
right.
recommendation?
Let's see.
All right,
I'm
so-
losing. There we go. I gotcha.
So anyway, I heard Logan say he had questions. So ask. Go ahead.
Sorry, I muted myself. What was your recommendation to the board?
My recommendation to the board was confidential and remain confidential.
Okay. Will you state what you think occurred in that stairwell?
Will I state what I think occurred? I think that there was a issue that occurred in the stairwell that had an inconclusive finding.
I'm sorry, you cut out for me. Was it inclusive?
Inconclusive.
There was an issue that occurred that had an inconclusive finding. And as Lou had said earlier, okay, we know that something happened. We don't know exactly what happened. And that's why we have an inconclusive finding.
And we all agree with that.
I agree. I said it. I don't have any problem saying that. There's an inconclusive finding.
I think everyone here on the stage agrees with that.
I think it's been public. I think it's publicly known. Who's your wife? Elliot, who's your wife?
So, I'm sorry?
Who's your wife? I think it's publicly known.
I'm not married.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody said you're. Maybe.
There's a lot of information. I also was having an affair with my daughter. So, there's just been so much garbage that's out there. It's incredible. And what I was going to say before I got cut off, I'm going to be on a podcast this coming week with John Gleason. And I'm going to probably open up to a lot more questions and deliver a lot more information.
Okay, you don't want to do that here. Can I ask you something? You don't want to do that here, right?
No, I'm going to do it.
You want to do it with John Gleason?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, haven't I given you information though, Lou?
You gave me a little information. The one bit of information you shared with me that I did not know, all right, is that you literally the first thing you said was that you didn't have that direct relationship, that I thought you were knowing Elliot. I thought you did actually have some contact and relationship with him. Okay. I was unaware, and you cleared that up, and I'm not going to say anything about it. That's fine. All right. But what I will ask about that is Elliot, does he have anything to do with the conference?
This year?
No, last year, 2025.
Oh yeah, he was on the board.
Okay, so you were aware that he was on the board. All right, you do have a relationship, whatever that you want to describe it as, a nothing relationship. It's fine, but there was some sort of a relationship with the board.
My relationship was with the executive director of the board. I never communicated with Elliot, so I didn't even know really who the guy was. So if you want to say tangentially, there's something there. But in the end, when I talked to the board and about my recommendations, he played absolutely no part in what happened with the decision. And that's really the crux of this.
Okay.
And he's no longer on the board.
Okay, that's fine. I'm saying the one thing we could say clearly, both of us right now, is that you did know these people other than Elliot. You didn't know him. You never heard of him. All right. But you did have a relationship with this board, and you were a member of the board yourself at some point in time. All right.
I was the president of the board.
Yeah. So you're definitely familiar with the conference. You know about it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Positively.
So do you feel, and I'm not judging this, I'm asking a serious question. Do you feel someone who was a member of the board at some point in time and has a relationship with the board, right, of some sort, that would be an unbiased person?
Oh, absolutely, positively. You don't know me. You don't know the investigations I've done, and you don't
I'm
know
not
the people
asking
I've
you.
done.
I don't know you, and I'm
So
not
the
judging
answer is
you.
yes. I don't think I was biased because because I had a prior relationship to the organization. No, I don't think I was. And I certainly had no relationship with Elliot. So from a protective point of view, absolutely not. The chips fall where they may. And they did.
Okay, now let's just say, okay, we covered that pretty well. And now, as far as what people have been exposed to, and you haven't brought anything new today, right? But as far as what we have been exposed to, all right, do you think it would be a good idea for people to make judgment on Nancy's character? Do you think that's a good idea?
I think that what's happened in our community has been unfortunate. I think that there could have been uniquely different conversations than what occurred. I think I know a lot more than most people about what's going on in the background, even though they think they know a lot. I think there's been a lot of information that's come forward that's inaccurate, especially about what happened in the investigation. I'm not guessing about that. I have the receipts. I'm going to show some of them, or I'm going to talk about some. I think the whole thing's unfortunate. I don't think this is the way forward for us. The reason I do this in the first place, and I've never been compensated for it, I've always done it for free, no matter what conference I've done. I've done American Atheists. I did the Amazing Meeting in Vegas several times. I've done AHA. Okay. I've done training for the boards. So I have relationships in and out I did. Now I divorced myself from a lot of this, like I said, years ago. And by happenstance, I happened to be there with this. I can understand why you think there's a potential for bias. You'd have, and my word may or may not be enough for you. And I understand that. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
So you at
You
least understand. I mean, I just want to make this clear between us. You at least understand why some people would say, "Wait, this doesn't really look unbiased." You can understand why they might think that, right?
People can think whatever they want, Lou.
I know that. I'm saying, can you understand why they might think that?
Whys are always hard questions. They why is because they want to. So, but from my perspective, okay, I'm not trying to protect anybody. I'm trying to do the right thing, and we did the right thing, in my view.
Okay.
But again, you have two complete different things here. You have what happened at the convention. You have everything else. Okay? Because what happened at the convention in a vacuum is a moment in time that was over by the first week of August. The rest picked up again in, some say September, December, some say January, some say February, when Nancy put out her letter.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another letter that came out that you probably haven't seen, okay, and aren't aware of, that I'll probably wind up, which is probably what I'll show next week, because I think it's
and
fair.
if I didn't see it, I can't comment on it.
And based on that is probably going to get a pretty big reaction from me with receipts about that. So I don't think we've turned this into, at least I keep hearing this, sides. Team Nancy and everybody else. That's on some blogs. You may not, but that's on some blogs.
I'm not on a team. I'll tell you right now.
Understood. I'm just making a comment about what I've heard. Okay. And I don't think there is a side. I think that I do this because there was a need in the community at that time, because a lot of conferences having issues, and that's why I got involved and did them. Nanocon back in the day was a one-day event. We really didn't need to have what we have now, because people come at 10 o'clock, they were going at 6, 7 o'clock. It wasn't an overnight convention. There wasn't a need for what I did. The only reason it occurred at this Nanocon, because it hadn't happened at the previous one, was because I was there and say, hey, we need this. And that's why we did it. Okay. The things that occurred, let me go back to what I had said earlier. The things that occurred after this, the things that occurred with the other streams and Michael Beverly and all that stuff, it's almost like it's taken on a life of its own, and it's a whole different issue relative to really what happened at the convention. The convention's become a boiling point for it. But if you consider, and you can believe, that within 90 minutes, I had done a full, complete investigation for the most part, based on what I had been told. And I have an audio of this, okay? And I have statements of this. And then once that was completed, I was done. Nancy told me to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
I believe you.
That was it. I have an audio of it. I'm glad you do. She told me to stop. 2 days later, I went back to Nancy and asked her if I could continue, because there was other information coming out and I wanted to ensure that I got it. So for a cover-up, I'm really bad at that, going back and asking to continue. So no, people are saying that that's what happened. So I went back to her and asked her, no, I have a text of that. Okay. And then I just wanted to dot my I's, cross my T's, kept her in the loop the entire time, completed it, was thanked for it, and we were done. And final report to the board, where I made the recommendation. I wasn't on the board at the time. Made the recommendation, which was accepted. So that was the end for me, up until all these other things occurred, starting in December, January, February. But my role in this, really, as the investigator, I was finished. I was done. There was nothing else to see. If there's not anyone who had a firsthand observation, besides the people who were there, about what occurred, it's inconclusive. And it was inconclusive.
All right,
So
I agree with you about that. So I don't, we don't disagreeing about that at all. All right. And I have not attacked you at all. I've never said you did something. What? Say that again?
Felt like you attacked me yesterday, Lou. Felt like you attacked me yesterday.
Say how?
Well, because you talked about me and Elliot. I was the investigator. You talked about how I was friends with Elliot, how I kind of did what I did.
I mean, let me say
that kind of.
You're saying kind of, but not really kind of, because I'm very careful. I'm very careful, and I did not mean to say you in particular. All right. What I did say is that this has been, I have witnessed, seen, and viewed video after video of people that are following the same cover-up type of activity that I see in corrupt megachurches. I didn't name you. I didn't say you were doing that. I didn't say your investigation was bad. All right. I said that I thought that you had contact, and the contact, yes, I accept what you told me, but you do also say that there was some relationship. All right. Not the type that you think I was implying. Okay. I give you that. All right. But you do say there was some sort of relationship with this conference.
Lou, you said I was his friend. You said we were allies. You named me as, you said I'm the investigator. People know I'm the investigator.
I mean, I got to go back and look, because I don't think I said that. I said it's as though, if I recall, a megachurch pastor having his best friend investigate. I didn't say you were his best friend, and I'm telling you point blank, I I may have, and I'd have to look at it carefully because I tell the truth. Hello. All right. If I did say you were his best friend or his good friend, then I will say that I was wrong.
Okay. We're allies. Anyway, go ahead. What other questions do you have? Ask.
Oh, for me, the only questions I have. Yeah, well, I mean, the only question I would have, all right, is not about your investigation, all right, because that I can fully, whatever. I wasn't there. You knew more than I do. I accept that, all right.
Okay.
My question would be, I have two questions, and that's it. Number one, you have this information, all right, that you're going to share with somebody else. All right. You don't do it here. All right. So I'm going to ask, why is that? Do you want to influence those people? All right. Why don't you influence the people right here now who are on my stream? What is with that?
Because there's a couple of reasons. Okay. I wanted to be real thoughtful about the way I presented the information. And I just had a meeting with my attorney who told me that I could. So having said that, I don't want to stand on one foot and just throw information out. I want to go back and look at everything, and it's considerable. So in order to do that response, I think a fair and thorough review of all the information is called for. Otherwise, because I don't want to be slanted in any of it. I want to be completely accurate. I want to be able to reference the documents, where they are, who it's from, what was said. So I want to be able, when I share something, I want to be able to do it scholastically, so people can go back and look. Because I want to take, now I have to admit, I was a little emotional in the beginning of our call, and I don't want to be that with this. It's too important. I think it's real important that the information that comes out, I can show a document. I can relate to a document. I can tell them where the document is, and I can show them the receipt from the document. So that way people can make up their own mind. Don't take my word for anything. You shouldn't. Let me show you the difference, and you make up your own mind. That'll take a little time, and that's why I'm not going to say a lot more about that right now, because I don't think it's fair.
All right, I have one last question. I'm going to leave you alone. And then maybe Logan has a question since he's here. All right, but
okay.
Like I said, I don't want to talk to you about the details of the investigation, because I don't doubt that you know more than me about that. Okay. You're the one who was doing it, so I'm not going to sit here and say I know more than you about that. All right.
Okay.
But here's the thing. All right. Do you think, and this is just you personally, okay? This is not a statement about everybody. All right.
Okay.
It's you as a human being, as a man. Do you think it's appropriate? All right. Two things. It's appropriate to call Nancy a liar. Do you think that's appropriate? And the other thing is, do you think it's appropriate when Godless Engineer and his wife, after I ask a question and not taking a side whatsoever, says that I'm ignorant? Do you think that's appropriate?
So let me answer the first question in a way that you'll absolutely hate. I think
you answer it the way you want.
Thank you. Okay. People handle conflict differently. Some people more directly, some people more obtusely. Different people, and when you say directly, is it right for people to call Nancy a liar? People have a right to, it's not my job to govern them or yours. People can say what they choose. People like you say what you choose because you have the right to do that.
Yes.
You're asking me to judge them.
I'm not. I'm asking if you as a man think that's appropriate. That's the question, not about anybody else.
Yeah,
Not
but as a
you.
man, do I think it's appropriate for other people to call other people liars? And I think people have reasons why they may or may not do that.
So
It's
is that
not
is
up to
that a
me.
yes, you think it's appropriate, or a no, or is that a deflection off of the question?
I'm not going to, I don't have the ability to answer it. You're asking me a question that's almost like, did you ever get caught kissing your sister in the closet?
That's not that.
So
That definitely is not like that. That is
it feels
definitely
like that.
not what I'm asking
You're
you.
asking me to say whether or not it's right
I'm
for me to
asking
say that
you as
somebody,
a person, not
I heard you.
you as a man. Do you think if a
Do you think
woman,
it's right for me to call somebody a liar?
no, do you think it's appropriate for a man to come out and call someone who made an accusation of sexual assault and put it in the public, to call them a liar or a whore or this type of stuff? Do
Who
you think
called?
that's appropriate for a
Give
man
me
to do
some,
that?
Lou. Give me some detail. Who called who a liar and about what?
Okay, I watch videos.
Yes.
Right? I don't
Yes.
know what people do in their private lives. I just watch
Okay.
videos. And
Okay.
I saw Godless Engineer say
Okay.
that Nancy is a liar. I heard on the same
Okay.
stream, all right, and I actually directed to me, all right, who I've never met this man. I used to
Okay.
promote his channel. Okay.
Okay.
I used to actually
Yep.
tell people to go and watch him. All right.
Right.
So I helped him in that small little way. All right.
Okay.
But this
Yep.
man said, I don't have, or I need to get a grip. Okay. And his wife said that I'm ignorant. Okay.
Okay.
So
Yep.
do you think that is appropriate for one man to tell another man?
Okay. I think that you have a beef with John and Casey, and I think that that's a good conversation for you to have with them, and I'm not going to get involved in it. How's that for an
That's
answer? I'm just not
that's
going to, I don't,
that's fair enough. But you're
okay.
you're not willing to say that you think that might have been inappropriate, right? You're not going to
I don't know.
say
I'd
that.
have to think about, I'd have to chew on it. You want an answer from me, and I'm just not going to wind up getting involved in that. I'm just not, I don't think I don't think it's constructive, but go ahead and ask your other question. Oh, do I think it was fair for him to call you ignorant? People say stuff about other people all the time. They think that they have a reason for it. That doesn't mean I think they're right or wrong. I don't know all the circumstance why he did it. Okay. You're asking me to make a snap judgment about what somebody did. I don't know why he did it. Somebody called Nancy a liar. Did they have a reason for it? Did they have a piece of information that they thought that she was being untruthful about? I don't think that's the way I'd react if that's your question, but other people?
That's my question.
Okay.
We
But I don't have,
we know how other people reacted. We get that. I'm asking for you personally. You wouldn't say Nancy's a liar, would you?
would I say it personally? Not today.
Okay. So I assume that probably not tomorrow or the day before. Right. And I've asked the questions. If you have anything to ask me, because I want to be fair to you.
Logan looks like he wants to ask one or two questions. So I'd really like to, if you don't mind, I'd like to give him the opportunity.
All right. Well, I'm finding that answer to slut shaming very disingenuous. I would think in general, most people are against that. But okay. You might be aware of what information Lou and I have access to. You know, basically anything provided by AJ, anything provided by Pocket Locker, anything provided by Michael Beverly. So do you think we are just morons for believing Nancy? I mean,
I think you have, I know you have incomplete information.
Mm-hmm.
I know you have misinformation. I know you have incorrect information. People react emotionally to this. Okay. Now I'm talking in general. Okay. It's presented emotionally. It's an emotional topic. You get some stuff, some information from a variety of people, and you react to it because you have what you have. The only reason I know differently is because I'm in a way, way different position than most people. Okay. Now I can tell you sitting here, okay, as just a couple folks sitting on a stream, you don't have all the information. Some of it's not
Know that.
accurate, and some of it's not correct. So you can believe what you want to believe until you get different information, or you can be now, Lou, you've been pretty adamant. You're an atheist, you're a skeptic.
Absolutely.
I'm a skeptic about everything. So am I skeptical about stuff? Well, if somebody you don't know, but who was part of an investigation says to you, you don't have all the information, you never did. Some of the stuff you got is misinformation. That's a fact that I know. And some of it's just flat out wrong.
But
You're
here. You're here now, Elliot. Tell me what is the misinformation I have.
I will next week.
Yeah, you won't tell me here. So if that's true, let me just say, if that's fine.
See, now that's a great statement. That's a great statement. If that's true.
Next week, Elliot, next week, I may totally change my opinion. All right.
I'll come back next week.
But you have not shared with me any misinformation that I have. All right.
I have not.
Godless Engineer has not shared with me any misinformation I have.
I did.
Right?
I shared 2 pieces of information with you.
One was
I'll tell you the 2. One was I told you that I didn't know Elliot, that I wasn't affiliated with him, that I wasn't his friend.
I accept that.
And I told you, Nancy told me to stop.
But I accept that too.
You do, but it hasn't been anywhere. So that's a piece of information that I never released. Okay? Nancy didn't release it, but it's critical because people wanted to know how come the police weren't called. That was a big piece. I was told to stop. That's a big deal.
Okay. I accepted when you told me that. Honestly, it doesn't make a difference to me because that's not going to persuade me of anything. The reason that's not going to persuade me of anything, Elliot, and I'm going to share with you my reason. All right.
Tell me.
The reason that's not persuasive is I know, number one, personally, close people to me that have done the same thing and were definitely victims of SA. Okay. And the research shows that is extremely common. So does that say, oh, now I know Nancy was lying? No.
Oh, no. I'm not insinuating that at all. Zero. That's not what I said. All I said was Nancy asked me to stop.
Yeah,
there's been a lot. There was a lot of information online. How come the police weren't called? I'm not a mandatory reporter. How come it didn't go further? So on and so forth. How come we didn't call for medical care? I asked her twice. She declined twice in that interview. That didn't come out anywhere. Nobody's seen that. Okay, but I have it on audio. So the things that people said they didn't know that weren't accurate. That's a piece of this. Now, I'm not saying anything about you know, other than these are little pieces of information you didn't know before today. You know them now. There's other information that will come out. Okay. But for the time being now, Lou, I'm happy to come back next week and share more. But let Logan ask you. Let Logan ask his question.
One last thing. I want to ask you something. No, because it just strikes me. It's like, you know, I know somebody personally. Of course, this is totally unrelated, but it's very close to me, family. okay, where somebody abused this woman, okay, and this woman withdrew all charges against that man, okay? That in that case, that doesn't mean that man didn't do anything, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
Right.
Absolutely not.
So that's why that's the same reasoning is what I'm telling you, because Nancy may have told you to stop, all right, and may have supported Elliot, all right? That doesn't tell me that nothing happened. That's all I have to say.
That's not what I'm saying about this. Part of the criticism of what has occurred, not by you, but part of the information and the criticism has been, we didn't offer medical help. We did. That we didn't call the police. We were told to stop. None of that's a whole separate issue from what you just talked about. That has nothing to do with whether or not something happened, whether or not what happened that was a claim happened on that stairwell. Zero. Neither of those things align. Okay, and I'm not alluding to. You drew that conclusion, probably rightfully. Okay, I'm not saying that. Okay, I'm just commenting about things that others had said that I can now, that I hadn't before. So I just figured I'd share those two pieces with you. But 1 and 1 relative to what I just told you does not equal 2 that she's not telling the truth. I am not saying that. Okay.
And I'm glad to hear that.
Okay.
But also understand, I didn't say those things that you're particularly talking about.
No, you did not, but others have. So I'm just giving you an opportunity to hear something that others hadn't for the first time from me. Yeah. Go ahead, Logan. I think he has other questions, and I'm happy. Do you? I'm happy to answer whatever question you have.
I don't know that I have questions. I do want to defend you, however, on people saying, why weren't the police called? From what I understand, and there's no real rule that I know of or law or anything, but usually
there is.
If the victim
and I'll tell you what it is.
Does not want
elder abuse. If you're aware of elder abuse, if you're aware of child abuse, everybody in Tennessee is a mandatory reporter. If you're aware of seeing someone who's challenged in some way, you're a mandatory reporter. If you're a police officer, a nurse, or a particular classification, a school teacher, you're probably a mandatory reporter. I'm not. So in that sense, there are people that are mandatory reporters. Just to be clear about this, I'm not.
I'm just talking about this in relation to a situation like this.
Thank you.
Not elderly and all that. So yes, if the victim does not want to call the police and you do not think they are in immediate danger, then you usually don't, unless maybe they're just so dazed that you think they're not thinking rationally.
It's really beyond them. It's is there an imminent threat?
Right.
In other words, whether the victim wants to or not, if I see that there's an imminent threat to the community, then I would call. But if I don't, then I wouldn't. And I think I've said this in prior podcasts. In all my time of doing this, which has been considerable, there's only one time the police have been called, and that's because someone was throwing stuff off a balcony, an interior balcony in a hotel, into the lobby. And they were like on the 12th floor. They were throwing Bibles and books and other stuff and pillows. So somebody could have been hurt. So the police got called for that. Anyway, any other questions for me? I'm happy to try and answer.
I got one just came in the stream. All right.
I was going to ask that one.
And it's not the YouTube stream, it's the StreamYard stream. But
sure.
And this does have to do with your investigation. So you should have knowledge of this, I guess. Why did Elliot apologize for hitting her head into the wall if he didn't hurt her?
Elliot didn't breach confidentiality as far as I can tell. I can't share any of the information relative to him at this point that I discovered during the investigation. So I'm limited to what I can say about that. So I'm not dodging the answer. I'm obligated not to answer. Ask the question again. Let me see if I can figure out a way to try and say something without breaching.
Okay, so please, we want to hear it.
Say the question again.
The question I had, and it's from someone in the stream, all right. Why did Elliot apologize for hitting her head into the wall if he didn't hurt her?
As far as I know, that information, and I'm guessing this, okay, I'm doing this from memory. In my investigation, I don't think I have anything about that. If that occurred after I was done, you'd have to ask him. But I don't recall that in my interviews. So I can only address what I directly know. Answering something outside my scope, I'd be guessing. I don't believe, and I'll go back and look, I don't believe that that conversation appears anywhere in anything in my interactions relative to that. So,
well, there's one follow-up on that from the same questioner. And she says, we saw texts of him apologizing for hitting her head into the wall.
Okay.
So you might not be aware of that, but some people probably are, I guess. I wasn't aware of that till right now.
I have the exact wording if you want to hear it.
What do you have the date of the text?
It says Sunday at 7:57 a.m. I don't think they have a...
What date?
This was from Nancy to SR.
What date?
Oh, I don't know the date. I think it's the morning after.
I need to. I'll go back and take a look and see, but it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
You know, it's okay.
It does have a. Is later, but it's continuous, so it's all from the same thread. That says Tuesday, July 29th.
Okay, so it's 3 days after the event occurred.
Well, no, this text of him making this claim is Sunday at 8 a.m. in the morning.
Sunday, then I do have that. I have it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I have it then. I can't answer why he apologized. You'd have to ask.
It wouldn't be something typical, right, for someone to apologize for hurting someone that they didn't hurt.
There would probably need to be a little bit more context to that.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not a typical thing someone would do, right?
There would probably need to be more context to that. What happened? Okay,
but without any other context, that would not be something that typically somebody would do. Correct?
There have to be more context to that. I'm not going to be mandated into an answer. I don't know. I'd have to know more to it than just a string of words that talked about that.
Okay, so, and just to be clear, you could ask me anything. You could ask me anything, and you will get a direct answer. Direct.
Appreciate that. You're not a investigator bound by confidentiality. So, in this case, in my conversations with him, I don't have an answer that dovetails to that question of that specific piece. There's a broader context of what happened relative to the issues in that stairwell and things that occurred, and I have answers to that, but you're taking a piece in time of something that happened in a vacuum, and I'm looking at the totality of it.
I'm hearing you.
And in totality,
there's Durante, who I watch him as well, and I don't know personally, but I watch him. He just said, and I'm going to ask you because to me it is a good follow-up.
Sure.
You did the investigation. Shouldn't you have the context in which that was said?
I do. I can't share because I started this in the beginning and said to you, I'm limited in what I can say about Elliot because he didn't breach. So I have the level of confidentiality with him. So it's a little difficult in some instances, but I think I can broaden this conversation next week once I review everything. And I think I will be able to give you a better and more clear answer. I know I am. I can't give you an answer now because that's a moment in time. I do have that whole text string. I have a moment in time. There's more to it than that. There's other texts that are included beyond that. That's part of the text string. There are other texts that are included. And there's also other conversations that occurred. So I can give more contextually after I see the rest of it. And then I'll be able to give you a more comprehensive answer. And I'll come back and give you a direct, more comprehensive answer.
Yeah, and you could do that. But before you do that, you're going to go specifically on Godless Engineer's channel.
That's correct.
Okay, nice.
That is correct.
Could I tell you?
Any other questions? You got me here. Ask me. I mean, you got people on your chat. They want to know. Go ahead and ask.
Durante is asking some questions. I mean, I don't know if he wants to come up. I don't know, but he does say in the
debate with anybody about this. I don't want to have a debate with anyone about this.
No, but you did come on, and I'm glad you did. All right, and you know, I don't think we've had a terrible conversation. I mean, it's been a.
No, I think it's been fair.
All right, so
I think you've been fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to beat you up. You're not. I don't think you're trying to beat me up either. So I'm okay with that. But
I'm trying to fill in some holes.
Okay, but the message that's referred there, that message, which I was unaware of until just now, all right, that's admitted violence, correct?
I guess it's admitted that he hit her head into the wall. What's the context of that? Did she trip over his foot? I
don't know. But it's violent, right?
Well, is it an accident? Is it not? Was it intentional? It's a moment, a word, it's a sentence in time. There's more to it than that. So I'm not going to wind up commenting about one sentence of an entire string of an entire event. That's not fair. It's not contextual. So I'll talk about it next week. Okay. And I can talk about it again.
He said, according to what I'm hearing right now, he said hit. He did not say he had an accident, right? Or somebody tripped. He said hit. That would, in most cases, maybe not this one, Elliot, but in most situations, people would say, when they say they hit somebody, that would be a violent act. When they hit someone's head, read me
the text.
Okay, I don't have that. I told you that. I just heard about it.
Read the text as it came to you.
I'm asking you a question that came up in chat. I don't have that.
I have it.
Okay. Logan has it. Read the text. Okay.
And I can present it on screen if you want.
No, just read it to me.
Okay, so this is, I noticed at the top they had the lobby. I don't know if you've seen them where they were trying to find each other. Where are you? Meet me in the lobby. Are you in the lobby? Okay, so this is the Sunday morning right after those lobby things. So he messaged her. Elliot messaged Nancy, "Are you okay?" She responded, "Got a massive bump on the back of my head and a 5-inch bruise on my ass. Do you remember anything from last night?" "Yes, I do," he answers. "And the first thing I thought when I woke up was, oh shit, I think I smashed Nancy's head into the wall at some point. I am absolutely insanely sorry. I hope you're okay. I also might have yelled at some people, maybe Drew Beckius, LOL. Hey, come find me." That's pretty much it.
Okay.
You could understand, Elliot, why somebody, not you, but somebody might say, gee, that sounds a little bit violent, doesn't it?
You'd have to see, you'd have to know what came before that. You have to know what came after that. And you don't.
And you're here to talk about it.
I'm going to be there to talk about it next week.
Yeah, but not now. But is that because I'm not a big influencer and I don't go to conventions and I don't support conventions and I've never had anything to do with any organizations? Is that possibly why?
No, but okay. If that's how you feel, and
No, I asked you.
That,
I asked if that's a possibility. That maybe that's why you don't want to talk about it.
I couldn't care less. It doesn't make any difference to me. Nobody's putting any money in my pocket. I don't get paid for this. I've been a volunteer doing this for years. I've never made any money doing this. Okay. Yeah. This is the way I wanted to think that I contributed back to the community. Some people donate money. I donated a lot of my time in doing this, always. To think that there's something untoward about wanting to try and help people, it's so, how's the best way to put this? I've done this because back in the day, okay, I don't want to, back in the day, in the early aughts, okay, early teens, people were getting hurt in conventions and there weren't any investigations. There weren't any code of conducts. There was nothing. And people were getting hurt. I was sitting next to somebody at a pretty big convention and said, listen, let me do this. Let me go ahead and put a code of conduct together. Let me see if I can't do something to help. And we put a code of conduct together and we started doing it like around 2012, 2013. And we had literally dozens, in that one convention, dozens of people came to us. Most of them were small things, but there were one or two big ones. And I started doing it to more and more conventions because there were people going convention to convention hurting people. Okay? I wanted to compile a list of that predatory behavior and was advised by an attorney not to do it because of the libel issues that could occur. So I started going to a lot of conventions. And if I had talked to somebody at a prior convention, I could walk up to them and go, listen, let's not try and have a reprise of your behavior from the prior convention. Now, I couldn't get to everyone, but I could get to the bigger ones, and I did. Never charged. Never asked for anything. Did I get a hotel room occasionally if it was far? Yes. Did I get airfare to go there because they wanted me to do it? Yes. Did I ever get compensation to do it? Zero. No gifts in kind other than plane fare and occasionally a hotel room. A lot of times, like at this past Nanocon that everybody's talking about, I paid for my hotel room. The convention didn't. I paid for my food. The convention didn't. So nobody, it was me. So there were more and more issues that occurred. And we found that the more conventions we went to, we were able to stop some of this. So it was a worthwhile proposition for us to do that. Anyway, I find myself here in a position I never thought I'd find myself in because we tried to help. Beyond that, hiding something, covering something up, money, sex cult, all this other stuff, not you, but other podcasters. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm just trying to help. That's all I've ever tried to do was help. That's it. You know, I'm sorry people get hurt. And I tried to do something about it. That's it. You can believe me or not. I never had
Nancy apparently was hurt, correct?
Nancy made a claim.
No, Nancy had bruises.
I didn't see them.
Okay, but you just read a text. I mean, Logan just read you a text.
I'm telling you what I know. What I know is you told me Nancy had bruises. I'm telling you I didn't see them.
Okay, but do you accept that she got hurt, or is that
I
a
accept
mystery to you?
Nancy. No, I accept that Nancy told me a story. Okay. She made an allegation. I did an investigation, and I couldn't prove conclusively one way or the other. And that was the investigation. She sent me a note telling me when I did it, and I kept her in the loop during the course of it, um, that she thanked me essentially for what I did. So didn't try and hide anything, talked to who I had to. And I told you there's what happened at Nanocon, and there's everything else. And I'm trying to stay out of the everything else piece because they tried to wrap this around something that didn't occur. An allegation was made. An investigation occurred. I interviewed the people that were appropriate to interview. There were no other witnesses to the event. I couldn't prove conclusively one way or the other. Could Nancy have hit her head in the wall? Yes, she could have. Okay.
Or she was hurt if she hit her head against the wall, right?
And she may have been hurt. Okay.
But you are here to
Okay.
protect people who got hurt.
I am here to protect people, but could I prove anything?
No,
Beyond
that's
a
not
doubt.
what I'm asking. I'm talking again to you as a man. You said you're here because you want to protect people from getting
Nancy
hurt.
told me she got hurt.
Okay,
Yes,
so
she
so
told me. Yes,
so
yes,
you
Nancy
have
told
no
me.
problem saying right now Nancy really got hurt.
No, I have no problem telling you Nancy told me she got hurt.
Oh, you're not sure if she got hurt. You just think she
I am
told
sure
you.
that Nancy told me she got
Okay,
hurt.
so you're not sure if she got hurt.
I am sure that Nancy told me
Okay,
she
if
got hurt.
you saw direct evidence that she got hurt, would that change your mind?
That would allow me to say I saw bruises on Nancy. I didn't. Nancy told me she got hurt. I had no reason to disbelieve her. Okay. I had no reason to disbelieve that she didn't get hurt, but I'm telling you what she told me. Okay. So I didn't have a reason to disbelieve her.
Yeah. So most likely she got hurt.
Most likely.
Okay.
But I go by what she told me. Okay. I go by black and white. Nancy told me she got hurt. I had no reason to disbelieve her. I believe that's an accurate statement.
Okay. So you're here to help people that got hurt. What are you doing to help Nancy?
I'm here to find what occurred if I can.
All right. So you're going back on you're here to help people who got hurt. You're
No,
here
not
to
going
find
back
out
on it.
information. You're not actually
Well,
here
sure.
to help someone that got hurt.
Oh, that's an absolutely incorrect way to put that together. But you feel
Am I
free to
misrepresenting
twist
what
that.
you said?
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
say that you're here to help people who got
Nancy
hurt?
could be. Yeah, and I am. The question is, how did it happen? I can't prove that. You
I'm
want
not
me to
even
just
talking
help her?
about that.
Well, I am, because that's what
I
I do
moved
now.
on from that. I'm saying that
Yeah, but that
you
you're
got hurt, and you're here to help people that got hurt. So isn't it a logical
and
response
what would your
to
position?
ask, what are you doing to help the person who got hurt?
Well, what I did was I had an investigation, and I offered to take her to the hospital to care for her. That's what I did.
Okay, well, that you did, and I'm going to accept that. All right, but
Okay.
right now you're not really moving to help her, right?
Well, my investigation's over. That's the thing that people are conflating. I'm not law enforcement. I'm a moment in time at a convention to, once an event occurs, if there's other people that are in potential danger beyond that, I'm trying to do two things: manage the piece that comes to me immediately, and then ensure nobody else is in danger. So, but beyond that, where I am now, 11 months after the fact, I'm not trying to prove anything or disprove anything at this moment in time. Well, that's not exactly true because I will.
No, that's not really true because, I mean, I'm just going by what you're saying. That's not really true because you're going on someone's program, someone's channel to specifically talk about and revealing evidence that we don't have that is supposed to be for the one who is accused. So that's not taking,
no,
that's not standing
that's
back and
what
saying,
you
I
just
don't want
said.
to.
What you just said was wrong.
Go ahead.
I never said
correct
that.
me.
I am. I just did. What you said was wrong. I never
Okay.
said I was putting evidence out to exonerate Elliott. Never said a word about that.
No, you didn't say
All I
exonerate
said-
Elliott, but you said that you were putting out new evidence on a show or a podcast or a channel that you're
Correct.
not willing
And-
to reveal now, all right, but
That's
you are
correct.
going to reveal it. So that
That's
is taking an active participation into
No.
this issue.
Well, I'm taking an active participation. You don't know what I'm going to reveal.
I
told
didn't
you
say
it
I
was
did.
I told you about a letter that you don't know about. That's what you
Right.
shared with me.
Right.
It's going to
Does
be
that
about-
letter, does
it's
that
gonna-
letter, does that highlight Nancy's story or no?
Tune in.
I think we all know, and we'll tune
No,
in.
you really don't.
Okay, well, we'll see. Maybe you're gonna come out on Godless Engineer's channel and say Nancy is not a liar, and that Nancy did say things, and you have documentation to show that she's not a liar, and that could be, but we'll see, right?
I'm not. You keep using that word pretty liberally. I'm not calling anybody a liar. I never have. I have no intention of doing that. So, but you're pretty liberal with that word.
I am careful. All right. There are people who have called her a liar, and one of them, you are going on that podcast, okay, to
So,
reveal information.
You were wrong about me, and I came on your podcast.
No, well, if you notice, when you say something true, I am completely going to say that is true. You got a point.
Your beef
Right.
with John has nothing to do with me. You have a beef with John and Casey for whatever the reason that happened.
Gee,
That
I
has
come from
absolutely-
New York, Elliot, and when someone calls you ignorant, okay, I come from New York, hello, Brooklyn, all right, that shit don't fly.
Well, I come from South Philly, which is just like Brooklyn, and it don't fly either, but I don't
Okay.
stick my nose in other people's business. You have a beef with them, okay? I don't. I'm happy to be here and talk to you about what you want, and I'm trying to answer whatever you want. You and I can have a relationship outside John and I. I was on another podcast, just if I could, just a quick kind of aside. I was on another podcaster. I happen to be good friends, you may not like him, with Matt Dillahunty. He did not like Matt. He said it a couple times. It didn't affect our conversation, okay? I didn't talk about Matt. He wanted to a little bit, but we didn't. I'm not going to, you have a beef with John. I don't. I can appreciate it. You don't like what he said about you. I didn't call you ignorant. I didn't say it. Don't get mad at me for
I didn't
that.
accuse you of that.
All right, but don't expect me to jump in your shit. I'm not. Like
No.
you said, you're from Brooklyn. I'm from South Philly. The worst thing you can do is cross the street and get into somebody's stuff. I don't do that. Okay. You asked me if that
probably
was.
get slapped, right?
So when you say to me, is that ignorant? And you're asking me to form an opinion about something like you've done with others, I'm just not going to wind up doing that. Respect me for that, and I'll respect you for backing off of that. Ask me other questions.
I've asked you enough, and again, I do appreciate you coming on. I do. And all right, on top of that, I have no problem inviting you to talk to me anytime. So
Thank you. And Lou, I appreciate it. And I apologize if I was a little heated in the beginning, but I was. Okay. But I appreciate you listening to what I had to say. Okay. I've tried to answer the best I could. I know sometimes it sounds a little bit not what you want to hear. I'll have a little bit more to say next week. I don't think I'll use the word liar ever because I would never do that. Okay. And we'll see what we see. Logan, do you have anything else for me? It looks like you have one or two other things you want to ask.
Well, I would have to go back.
My mouth is shut for now.
I would have to go back and listen, but I think you kind of contradicted yourself, because at one point you said you don't know what happened before and you don't know what happened after, as if that matters to the single event. But then a few sentences later, you say, I'm only focused on the single event, not anything that came before or after. So if you said those statements, I'll have to go back and check. That's a contradiction. And I don't think, I think what, well, sorry, let me talk. I think what you might be referring.
He froze.
Allegations. Yeah, you guys are freezing.
Say it again. You froze. Say it again. You froze.
You might be referring to the allegations that Nancy was wanting to set this up, and she was wanting to do something with SR or maybe somebody else. And then afterwards, she was still talking with Elliot, and she was talking to allegedly ambushed apostate, trying to set up something with him. Those things to me do not mean nothing happened. And that's
okay. I agree. But again, I'm not, those things occur after the event that I investigated. Your people are conflating what I actually looked at and everything else. I looked at something where Nancy made an allegation. That happened at a moment in time in Tennessee. I wound up doing an investigation that took about, I believe it took 3 or 4 days until all the information was compiled. And I made my presentation, even though I had completed most of it before I left. But there was some other stuff I needed to follow up on. That, for me, is my level of involvement in this. Everything else that happened beyond that, where people took what occurred in that moment in time and created other things, okay, that's on them. That really had nothing to do with me and what I did, even though I got dragged through with something where I was a bag man, I was partial, I did this, I did that. I did an investigation based on the very best evidence that I had that I could prove about something that happened in a stairwell. And then I was done. And that was it. And then all this other stuff occurred in December, January, February, March, April, May, up until today. We're still talking about it. But the truth of the matter is my involvement was a moment in time on Sunday morning for 90 minutes. That's what happened. Everything else is other things. It's not that. I'm not a law enforcement official. I'm not a DA. I'm not a state of mind guy. All I tried to do was find out what happened in that stairwell, and was there an imminent threat to the convention? That's it. People want to make my role so much bigger. It's not. I'm a minor cog in this, okay, in the sense that I was just trying to find out what happened and see if there was anything else that was a danger to the convention. Beyond that, this all became a lot of other stuff. You had asked me earlier, do I think you're a moron because you listen to Jay, you listen to... None of that really was relevant to what I did. You know, it's podcaster stuff. But relative to what I do, I'm not a podcaster. It's more serious for me. Okay? I hate like hell coming out about this. I hate being on your podcast, Lou, as nice a guy as you are. Okay? All right? I wish I could be out there and go to 2nd Street and get a corned beef sandwich at Katz, but I'm not. Okay. I lived in Manhattan for quite some time. I know New York. I know New York guys, and I used to go to Brooklyn. But I really do try and help people. The whole thing's unfortunate. That we're here having this conversation is unfortunate. That it splintered the atheist community. By the way, Lou, there is one thing that I'll disagree with you about. That has nothing to do. It's something else you said, but in a broader view. I believe that I've been an atheist like you my whole life. I heard you say that. Okay, died in the wool, tried and true. I don't believe atheism is monolithic like the Catholic Church. You know, if you think back years ago when we had atheism plus, they tried to add social justice issues to atheism and so on and so forth. You know, atheism is not a belief in God. And a lot of people are right-wing atheists, left-wing atheists, upside-down atheists, be whatever kind of atheist you want. Okay? We're just not monolithic. And we're certainly not above and beyond morally. There are bad atheists because we're part of the general demographic where there's bad everybody else. So do atheists do bad stuff sometimes? You bet. I found some. Hold on for a sec. Is there anything special about us? We have a disbelief in higher religion. Other than that, we do the same shit everybody else does. Okay, pretty much. Okay, good guys, bad guys. Pick your poison. Okay, am I going to defend or hide somebody that does something wrong if I can prove it? Probably the same way you would, Lou, and the answer is not a fucking chance. Now, you can believe me or not. Okay, you have that option. Okay, but that's not me. And I wish we weren't here, but we're here. And people
we agree on that. We totally agree.
And I'll tell you one other thing. People are monetizing this. And I find that difficult.
Well, how would someone monetize it? Just curious. Like how would that happen?
Have podcasts about it endlessly. Is how you monetize it. So that's how you monetize it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't make any money here.
Well, you asked me how. Okay, but be that as it may, I wish we were talking about other stuff. I wish we were talking about the Knicks, you know, but we're not. We're talking about. It's not a bad conversation to have. I wish we were talking about process. Like I told you about the process we had at the convention, you know, how robust it is. The process worked, Lou, because somebody came to me and told me there was an issue. I would have never known because Nancy told us she wasn't going to come forward. So if people didn't come forward and let me know, I would have never knew. Nancy didn't want to do an investigation, is the information that we got. And she stated that in some documents. So if, in that sense, the process worked because somebody came forward. Are you going to say I covered it up because I did exactly what the process is? Because people have said we've been covering it up. We've been covering up this or covering up that.
Let me tell you what I think, okay? Because I'm not.
Go ahead. I'm interested.
I'm certainly not saying you covered it up. What I'm saying is there was a pattern that I've seen 100 times before in the atheist circles. Not everyone, because like you said, this is not a monolith. People, atheists, have all different feelings and understandings. So I'm not, this is one of the things, I want to make clear. I'm not saying all atheists do this stuff. Obviously not. All right. But at the same time, I've seen a pattern that is identical to the pattern that I see in corrupt religious institutions, covering the wagon, etc., that I'm seeing here. Now, I could be misinterpreting it. That's possible. All right. But I'm definitely seeing it for sure.
Well, tell me, then if you don't mind chatting with me about it, and I know this is a different topic, tell me what you're seeing. Tell me how you're seeing it so I'll understand what you're talking about.
All right. So when you look at when something happens in churches, all right, where let's say the pastor or someone influential is accused of something, all right, the first thing you see is these people who are loyalists, all right, loyalists come forth, and they act and behave in a way that prevents the issue from going out more, all right. They cover for the person who is accused. They literally make everything against the one who is saying that they were victimized, because they tend to think that the Holy One, let's say the pastor or priest, is above that sort of behavior. And the one who is the one who was victimized, they're not holy like that. So in different communities, that's not unique to just religious communities. It's also out there in any community. It could be work. Well, the guy running a company, he would never do that. All right. It's that rotten, lowly employee. All right. Must be him. All right. So I have seen people coming after Nancy. All right. I've seen many videos like that. All right. I've seen people trying to not have the dialogue that you and I had today. Okay. Trying to avoid that dialogue. All right. All right. And I've seen people trying to hush everything up. And that's exactly what I've seen in corrupt churches over and over and over again. Now, maybe they're doing the same thing, but they don't want to do the same thing. But it is the same type of stuff.
I hear what you're saying. I would have liked to have responded sooner to this. If I had been able to get online and do this in January, February, I might have been able to answer more questions, tamp this down, prevent people from digging into sides the way that they did. But I couldn't, and I didn't. So I can't go back in time. I hear what you're saying. I can tell from what I know, and believe it or not, yeah, I mean, you should be skeptical. We tried to just find what the answers were. Simple enough. An allegation's made, get to the truth, get it resolved, whatever that is. Chips fall where they may. This got so far beyond that. We weren't the only ones that investigated. I mean, I did my little piece. The police investigated, and it was inconclusive. I was not involved in the police investigation at all. I don't know what they did, what they didn't do, what they found, or what they didn't find. I have no idea. Okay, I was contacted by briefly. We have created and dug into two different sides. Look, I'm not going to kumbaya. Okay. From my perspective, this is really pretty simple. We're going to have conventions. We're going to have conventions, and people occasionally are going to be involved in some bad behavior. Okay, we've seen that all the time. Do we have a process in place where we can get to that bad behavior, have an investigation, and make sure nobody else gets hurt and take some appropriate action? I hope so. That's been my experience with the things I've done. This taking on a life of its own the way it has, my fear has been, and why I'm doing this, candidly, why I'm on now, is I'm afraid it'll prevent other people from reporting. Okay, because they'll be worried. That's the sole reason I'm on here. I know people think it's different, but my whole reason why I was so concerned about the way initially you had couched my position, okay, was in a direct reflection of I'm worried about other people being afraid to talk to me, which is why I've been so reluctant to ever talk about confidential information. strength of my position has always been that the information between us is confidential. But when so much stuff comes out that's wrong or misleading and not responding to it, where is my ethical obligation? And what should I do? What would you do? Would you keep letting it go on and other people being now? The sides get strong where people insulting each other, calling each other names, liars, telling them to go fuck themselves and all this. That's horrible. Okay? It's horrible. So people create their own reality. Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. Which is why I said to Logan initially, when he said, I don't think you're a moron. I didn't say that, and I don't believe that. Okay? But I think you're limited to make a decision based on the information that you have and what you want to believe. Okay? And not all the information that you have is accurate or complete. If you had that, you may make a completely different judgment about everything. But you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're missing. And if I don't come on and say something and let Lou ask me tough questions and beat me up a little bit, you'll never know. Okay? You'll keep on going under these same assumptions based on the information that you have. Is that fair? I don't think so anymore. So,
well, you would say it's, I'm going to agree with you on that. All right. But you would also say that goes the other way, right? Like coming out and saying people that disagree with you, that believe Nancy, that they have some sort of an unethical slant to them. All right. That would also be pretty bad, right?
Yeah, but I'm really not saying that. I think the same thing applies for them.
Both.
I think they have.
That's what I'm asking.
For and against, absolutely. It applies to everybody. You have a finite, of course, you have a finite amount of information, and you interpret that information in a particular way. Some people interpret it as Republican. Some people interpret it as Democrat. Okay, some people interpret it as independent. Now, if you get more information, it may change your mind. It may not. But you have the right to stop hearing just one side. Okay? And you have the right, two sides have limited information, but only one person has all the information. Do I have an obligation now to share? I didn't want to, and I've avoided it for quite some time. I'm no hero. This is making me, I am not happy about this. I'm not happy I have to go to an attorney and worry about, do I have to start taking other action against people because they're saying stuff that's inappropriate or wrong. But you get to a point where this thing has got so out of whack with so many different things that maybe additional information is necessary. And there
I welcome all the information because I'm an outsider looking at something. All right. So of course I welcome the information.
Yeah, that's you. Not everybody is Brooklyn Lou. So just as a point of reference, up until a few months ago, I didn't know John or Casey Gleason. I didn't know AJ Roy. I didn't know him. When I did the investigation, I didn't know him. Okay. So I think May is when I really started having conversations with John. But before that, and during the time of the investigation, I didn't know the guy. Okay. And I didn't know AJ. So, I don't have, and I can't speak for Nanocon. I didn't. I had one agenda, which is to do the very best I could and to do the best I could for Nancy. That was my agenda. Okay. Always has been. Or whoever the person is I talk to. That's what I try and do. That's why I put these in place. I'm not a money-making enterprise, and I don't represent one, okay? Nanocon's not a money-making enterprise. The money we make goes right back into next year's convention. I think we make like, I'm guessing it's like $36,000 or $38,000. All that money goes right into next year's convention. Nobody gets compensated. None of the board, none of the volunteers. Okay. Occasionally we pay some people to come in, or we did. I'm not tied into that anymore. I don't know. So anyway, any other questions or thoughts? Does anybody have anything else they want to ask?
Yeah, I'll look into the thing. I'm done, and I appreciate, again, I've said this before, but I appreciate you coming on. Right?
It was,
Well, for me,
it was my pleasure.
and we don't need to discuss it anymore. I mean, I don't know. Did Scott ever show up, Lou?
Yeah, Scott's waiting to come on.
Just that, I asked you about the slut shaming, and you, in my opinion, you dodged the question. And like Durante says in the chat, this event made you closer to people who are slandering the victim. You know what Durante said was, if you want to believe Elliot, if you want to believe Nancy, if you want to be neutral, that's fine. But nobody should be slut shaming this woman. And you didn't take that moment, that opportunity to even speak against it.
I'm not sure I heard what you said, but go ahead and say it again.
Just that, I mean, I have tons of texts where they basically said, well, Nancy was asking for it. Nancy was acting all slutty at the bar, and she was asking for it. And I would have, okay. Ardent Heart's like, I would have believed her if I wouldn't have seen that.
Let me be clear about one thing. Nobody, no women ever should be slut shamed, ever, for any reason whatsoever, no excuse. Good. Whatever people do, no matter what they drink, whatever they're doing, whatever their sexual proclivities, have at it. I'm not a judge, jury about that. If you want to go do whatever you want to do, wear what you want to wear, absolutely, positively. If I didn't answer you appropriately before, I didn't hear you or I didn't understand it. But unequivocally, without exception, people should not slut shame. There's no good reason for it ever. You can have a conversation about what your disagreement is if you need to. Okay, now is that clear?
Very clear and very clear, direct, and that's what I like. Okay, but I would then follow up and say, you would say people who do that and have done that, they really weren't doing the right thing, right?
I don't think anybody should be slut shamed. I don't think people should be slut shaming other people. I don't think that. That's my opinion. Other people may have a different perspective about
okay, but if somebody, there's one little thing that really gets to me, Elliot.
The one little thing.
You say that, and it's so clear. All right, you made a clear, direct thing, and I love that. All right, I think that's a wonderful thing. But when I then ask you if somebody else did that, okay, if one of the creators that you like, or one of the people on the board, or one of the people that you associate with did that, would you say they were wrong? That's the question.
I'm going to give you an exact example, okay? And then you tell me what you think that is. Okay, I'm not going to name a name, but I'm going to tell you something that happened in the past couple of days. People have been calling Elliot a rapist. Okay? I think that that's wrong. Somebody the other day
I don't call him that. Just so you know.
I didn't say you did. But
no, I'm just saying. I don't.
I was in a conversation the other day where somebody called Michael Beverly a rapist. And I said, don't do that. That is not an accurate statement based on what you know, what I know. Please don't do that. That's not what we should be doing. So I can control my behavior. When somebody does something inappropriately, I can have a conversation with them about that, which I'll do. I'm not signing off on their behavior, but they can do what they want. I don't have the ability to control that. But what I do have the ability to do is then go back to them and say, this is wrong. This is not what you should be saying or doing. So will I do it? No. Will others do it? I don't agree with them doing it. And then when I can correct the behavior, I do it. Okay? I'm not an advocate of it at all. There's no benefit. Does that help?
Yeah. I mean, it's, see, I'll be very clear, just a little more clearer than you, maybe. I think it's awful and horrendous when somebody would take someone like Nancy and call her names and say she's a liar, she's promiscuous whore, or what. This type of behavior is awful. And it doesn't matter if it came from the most greatest influencer in the world. It's just awful. So I go a little,
I'm not
stronger than you.
I'm not disagreeing with you about that. I think slut shaming is terrible. I have girls. I have a daughter that's getting slut shamed right now, every day, by Jay on his podcast regularly. Okay, don't hear anybody talking about that.
I think that's awful.
Well, okay, yeah. Don't see anybody jumping up and down. All right, every time he does a podcast, he talks about it. Okay, he slut shames her. So yeah, I'm not an advocate because I have daughters, because I have a honey. So no. So Logan, did I answer you in a more concise way?
Speak to those people if they continue to do it.
Okay. I'm sorry?
If they continue to do it, I wish you would have a chat with them. Because I can't. They won't talk to me.
Well, look, I took a lot more time than I thought I was going to. I certainly appreciate you giving me the opportunity. I try not to equivocate. If I misspoke or did something incorrect, I'll come back and try and fix it and be more direct the next time. I'm sorry you're having a beef with John. It's my beef.
I really don't have, let me just say this. I really don't have a beef with him. I called out something that specifically him and his wife said. I don't know John. I don't know him. All right. I've been a supporter of him. All right. Because he's an atheist and he speaks out, and I'm all for that. But all right, if someone says I'm ignorant and they try to push me off and don't want to talk and say I don't have no understanding of this stuff, nah, nope, okay. Not flying with me.
I won't donate for you to have a cup of coffee, but if we're in Brooklyn together, I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
You got it. And I sincerely mean it was wonderful that you came on. All right, because that means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you both and everybody on the stream for the time. I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Now I just need to figure out how to get out of here.
You're out. All right. So I appreciate that he came on. And I really do, because
yeah.
It's better to come on and actually speak for yourself than to cower away and have a bunch of people write bad things. So I appreciate that. All right. I want to bring on Kyle for a moment, and then I want to bring on Scott, who finally arrived. All right. But Kyle, I want to bring you on. Are you there? Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Lou.
Hey, so anyway, you heard all that conversation. What are your thoughts?
My head is spinning. Oh my God, the amount of hypocrisy. It's deafening. I'm still trying to absorb the bullshit that he was spreading, but I do appreciate your pushback and your well thought questions, because at every turn he kept stepping in his own shit. Yeah, there was a lot of us in the chat that had some questions for him, and I know those will never get answered. None.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch my video, and I know you did, that why I came on here, because I made a video about it. My personal video is about how I'm witnessing the same type of cover-up behavior. I mean, not going to court with it, but I see the same type of behavior that I see in corrupt religious organizations. And that really, to me, that's clear, you know. And that's why I made the video. I wasn't in the stairwell, right? I mean, I can't definitively say I know everything that happened there, but I do know that I believe Nancy is saying something that happened. Yeah, I do think that.
You don't have to have been present in the stairwell. You could have been in India and know that that ought to have been prevented, that ought to have not happened. Let me put it to you like this. Having your own autonomy, bodily autonomy and respect, I could have been butt ass naked, doing a cartwheel and dropping into the splits. That does not mean I am allowing to be touched. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Disrespected, abused, all of that.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like, absolutely agree with you.
I was really hoping that you would play that clip with Seth Andrews, because
Oh well,
Seth Andrews has all of.
I'm
Ooh.
still on. I planned on doing that because I want, you know, if you don't mind, I'd like to do that because I want to show some of the things I'm seeing that are disturbing. It's like,
Mhm.
you know, Seth Andrews doesn't know, let's say, jack shit about what happened. All right. He knows less than me and Logan do. Right.
No,
And yet he
he was
comes on and
there.
he says this stuff and then he deflects it off like the person making this and talking is worthy of being pushed aside, and that bothers me totally.
Well, he was there at
Yeah, but
Nanocon. Yeah,
not in a stairwell, right?
right. And he claims to have been given all the information and all of that. But no, I do appreciate you asking, and I'm more than happy for anyone and everyone to share it because, certain keywords are used to describe him specifically, Seth, a big pillar of the atheist community, skeptic community. And one of those words that stuck out to me was empathy, shows empathy. And yet I was shown none. And my request was very minimal at
Yes.
best. And I was very kind and soft and direct, and you just did not want to participate in it by any form of reciprocity. And
Yes, and that's what really bugs me. It really does, because you were definitely nice. You know? I mean, you were definitely, and the subject is important to the community. You know, it is something important, and yet he tries to deflect and shuffle away from it, and that's the very behavior that I called out in my video. Although I hadn't seen that video until after, you know.
yeah, absolutely. Given that Nanocon is so close, um, it would have been it would have been nice to see proof that they actually filed the application for a permit for the armed guards, that they were going to be spending an enormous amount of that money that they had fundraised through the line with. That would have been great. But I don't suspect there's actual genuine truth when it comes to Elliot's side at all. And just as much as he claimed to be the hero and claimed to disapprove of slut shaming, bet you my bottom dollar that when he does this stream with GE, it's not going to be favorable for survivors. It's not going to be helpful or conducive for anyone experiencing that.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention the 501c3 part, but I feel like I'm rambling. Go ahead.
No, that's why I told him. I said, you know, you could reveal this stuff now. You know, I mean, I think, all right, it's a favorable place for him to go, and talk about this new information that he's going to reveal. And I told him I have doubts that that information is going to be helpful to Nancy. You know, I have my doubts about that.
Yes, sir. But thank you for asking the questions that you did.
And well, we try to, I mean, all I'm doing is saying what I think, and that's how I do it, you know? I mean, I could only look at this and say my opinions and what I feel is right, you know? And I've seen women be victimized many, many times. And I've seen the behavior around more powerful people and how they rally around these powerful people. Right? And I just want to distance myself from that completely.
Yeah. I do want to mention that the launching of the website, if you've been able to bear it at all and actually see it, like it's egregious doesn't even cover the word that would quantify the disgust that is, and that needs to be taken down immediately.
Is this
Period.
AJ?
Point.
Which website are you talking about?
What happened at Nanocon 2025, the one that GE
Oh, you
and
mean
AJ
the one
made?
that went out in emails?
I don't know. I never got that email.
I got an
Yeah.
email and I didn't ask for one.
From AJ?
Yeah. I didn't ask for one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle,
Yeah.
you're talking about AJ's stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one big, huge slut-shaming paper.
Absolutely, it is. And I'll answer you, Joe. I see you in the chat. What does Nancy want at this point? To prevent this from happening again. Period. That's what she wants.
Well, I think the only way for them to handle, can't stop him elsewhere, unfortunately, but they could say, Elliot, you're not welcome here anymore.
Well, he sits on the board. Yeah, I mean, there's only so much we can do, but I think that they collectively have portrayed themselves to be the absolute monument of like perfection, that there is no room for improvement because they are just so prestigious in every sense of the way. And that's fucking bullshit. That's crazy. Everyone has, the capacity, well, not everyone. I've already said this before. We can do better. We ought to be doing better, especially if you are supposedly, supporting vulnerable communities that are coming from religious trauma.
Yeah, it's the type of behavior would be the same type of trauma that goes on in the religious world. And that's like clear to me. It's the same type of thing.
And I don't think I think once you're so small that once you get ostracized, it's very hard to come back. Who was it? Jimmy Swaggart that got busted.
Yeah.
And he go, oh, I've sinned. And okay, he's still making money, because it's so easy for Christians of that type to just move on to something else. But yeah, in our little community, if you want to call it that, once you get ostracized, it's very damaging.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Logan, Kyle, I called out what I see as being the pattern and behavior of certain influences. I mean, certainly, I get people saying, I mean, it's weird to me. I get people saying, oh, so now you're supporting the Christians? No, that's not what I'm doing. Or, now you're trashing atheists or atheism. No, I'm not trashing atheism. I think atheism is correct.
Also, if I may, I wanted to also mention another thing. So there's the sponsorship of these organizations for this particular event. But another thing that I don't think people have maybe realized is that some of these content creators are tied to channels that are 501c3 orgs. And they haven't put the two and two together. And how this has been able to be perpetuated all this time in this maladaptive state is beyond me. I made a clip of, I think his name is Amazing Atheist, that will help hopefully break it down and is more palatable for consumers, so it's not coming from me, for them to maybe realize what points we're making here. And yeah, I do think just as important as it is to call out this type of behavior, it also is important to stand united against this, because this is how it has gotten to this, if that makes any sense.
Makes sense to me. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, there are higher. You know, if a person is a big MAGA and he supports Trump, but he, hey, all these people are slut shaming her, I would stream with them, you know, because they're agreeing with me on that topic, and that's more important than, you know, what their political affiliation is.
Yeah. And I mean, I've always made it clear when I come on live that I'm open to anyone's opinions. Obviously, I'm going to take my own thoughts and I'm going to share them, and that's how I run my streams. You know. So let me bring on my friend Scott. He's been waiting a while. Scott is was my co-host this evening, but Logan, you have actually stepped in to be the co-host. But Scott's a buddy of mine, and he's an atheist too. Let me bring him on. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Lou. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound loud and clear.
Okay, good. I was having.
Did you listen to some of this?
Yeah, I caught some of it, you know, and man, it sounds like the guy was just playing politics or something, man.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that shit shouldn't happen. Period. That's the entire thing.
Before we get into that, because I have dinner coming eventually, Scott, or do you know what EST means now?
Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. My apologies for that too, man. I got caught up at work at the same time, like unexpectedly as well. Anyway, so it's just bad timing on my part. But yeah, I caught the end of it. So, what were your questions or do you have? I think maybe you ought to play that clip you were talking about.
Oh yeah, Seth Andrews.
You were saying. Yeah. I want to
check.
I
would love to do that, because that's indicative to me of how it's being handled in a certain aspect of the atheist community. All right, and it's indicative of what I see. All right, because there seems to be this thing with a power play or an influence play, you know, where people try to come in and only support one side of an issue because other people are doing that, and they kind of take marching orders type of thing. Now, of course, I don't know what these people are emailing to each other, but when I see what I'm going to show and we can look at together is I see Seth Andrews, a very, big time atheist influencer, and we hear him being challenged, not in a heavy way. It's pretty simple, but seems to be like he just runs away. It's right, which is really funny to me because, you know, atheists, you would think they don't need to run away, right? Okay.
You know, it's despite what the guy said. I mean, atheists are just like any human being. They're a social animal, you know, and so they're going to want to form communities and things like that. And this is what they do. And no matter what community we're talking about, human beings will always do this kind of, you know, these kind of, it's always possible, regardless of your label or whatever it is that you're, you know, about, let's say. But still, the point is that regardless, you should be fair and understand, you know, when something's wrong, it's wrong, you know, period. And address it that way. You know, be skeptical. Don't, you know, fall for the power plays or whatever, the authoritarianism like you're talking about, you know. But, you know, with anybody else, sometimes people are really intelligent in one area and that's it. You know.
Yeah, and we're all flawed people. We, you know, I think everyone recognizes that.
Yeah.
But when you see a pattern, you know, of behavior, and it's all along the same lines, it definitely makes you wonder, right?
Yeah, it just exposes, you know, it just exposes how anybody can be gullible.
Yes, and we're all vulnerable to being gullible. And
Yeah.
And there are leaders, you know, who people follow. All right. And that's not me personally, but I recognize a lot of people follow people like, you know, well, if I'm going to make an argument about something, well, I have to go to that guy who's going to give me the argument to make. Right.
That's right.
And I just think that's weak. It's like,
You know, I've kind of seen it for years, though. Really, I've seen it for years, and I used to speak up about it sometimes in these little groups and bubbles and echo chambers that I was part of, and you know, it always lands on deaf ears, and it just lets you know it's just another hierarchy system.
Yeah.
Hierarchy. That's what they turn. You can turn anything into that.
Yes.
You know, that's religion. Same thing.
Yes. Business.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And I am against that. So that's why I spoke up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really the reason. It's, you know, I'm against that type of behavior, that type of, you know, falling in line, circling the wagons, you know, being very careful about what you say because you don't want to insult, you know, Mr. Big Time Creator. You don't want to do that, right?
I mean, it's doing your part, man, because people who look at groups and fall into this group think will see atheists and say, yeah, but you know, kind of odd how no atheist spoke out against it. No,
there's been some, Logan.
So what I'm saying is the people that step up and do that, they're doing their part, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm telling you. You're doing your part and speaking out against that, you know?
Yeah. And it's also demonstrating that you're not really following because someone's a big time creator. You know, you got to go to them to form your thoughts.
Right.
You know, but let me bring this up because this is great. And I really want honest opinions about this because when I see it, I see somebody making an outward attempt to cover something up. Okay. Yeah. But of course that's, you know, he's not trying to show that, right? I mean, so you got to kind of like look at it and
read
decide
between the lines.
You got to decide for yourself if I'm seeing something accurately. But here's Seth Andrews. Let's see if I can get this going here. Let's see.
It's 19. Hi, are you there?
There.
I am here.
There we go.
Welcome. What's your name?
My name is Kyle. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh, it's an honor to talk to you. What's on your mind?
Well, I have to admit, I have never really watched your show. But and you're probably wondering, okay, then why are you calling me?
No.
Because first of all, I appreciate these deeper, below the surface types of discussions and conversations. It aligns with my alignment and how I operate. And why I'm calling is because I'm not an empath, trust. However, I give a lot of shits about things that actually matter and like integrity and morals. And so why I called is because I have been recently working with advocating for camera installation at the lodge on Montgomery Bell for Nanocon to prevent the violence that occurred last year. And I'm asking from one human to another human if you would help in that effort.
I have been aware from the outside of allegations, but I am very aware that there are many, many people who are massive advocates for people, both men and women, who are well in the know with the evidence that has supposedly been presented, and they are unconvinced that anything transpired, at least as far as the allegation is concerned. It's something where we need to be well aware that, accusations must be taken seriously. But advocates pretty much across the board have come forward to say that there is no there, and there are tremendous, tremendous problems with that story. And so I've never seen anything to indicate that Nanocon is anything other than an absolutely safe and respectful atmosphere. They run a very tight ship, and they are a wonderful organization. So this idea that they are going to have to take extra steps to prevent a problem where the allegations are monumentally dubious, to me, I don't think there's anything that we need to be alarmed about. Well,
if I may, I think that there might be some miscommunication here, because my goal in speaking with you right now is not to mitigate wrongdoing at all. There's a blind spot, and why can't there be a camera installed there?
A camera where? I mean, the facility is going to have security.
That's the only place that has no surveillance.
Has there
at the very least
aware of what's going on?
If you used it, you would know that it does not work. They do not respond.
I'm not convinced at all that that is the case. I'm fully connected with people.
Tried.
All right, hang on. I am a little bit concerned that we consider to be unsubstantiated allegations are fueling a narrative about a reputable event. And I don't find that this is going to be helpful to us when this organization has a history of advocacy. And I don't think the security I think this is a bit of a Trojan horse for another conversation about whether or not they are allowing untoward behavior. I've seen organizations, I've seen conferences, I've seen things where problematic events have happened, and those instances needed to be exposed, and perhaps the organization needed to shore up their procedures. I have seen nothing to indicate that Nanocon has a gap. And so if there was a security camera issue, not just overall, that might be something to take up with the facility. But I don't believe, I don't see that there is an issue there. And I worry that Nanocon might be being unfairly portrayed, even the inference by some that it is an unsafe place. It is certainly not. There's no evidence to support that. But, we definitely need to keep our eyes and ears open out there. But there's a clear code of conduct, and there are advocates throughout the organization and the conference who are at the ready and have their eyes and ears open. And I think they've got enough equity in this movement most of them women. And I think we need to certainly be aware of that and honor that. Okay.
I guess maybe you haven't been made aware that they have now hired armed guards.
Okay. I'm going to have to let you go. The reason that security has been increased is because there has been a campaign that has been launched against many of the organizers at Nanocon. Now, I keep my community away from much of these conversations because this is not why you are here. And I juggle a little bit with the responsibility that I have as a movement leader to...
So
Wow.
that was recorded by Kyle.
No one was ready for what just happened.
And
CDN's
let me
2.0
get rid
just
of
dropped.
that. But
Keeps your character-
that was recorded by Kyle and was deleted. I think that's interesting. It
Yeah.
was deleted by Seth.
Yeah, man. It's a business. They're all doing business, you know.
That's what it seemed to me. I mean, that recording, you know, if you're streetwise, I mean, I hate to use that term, but I think personally you could see that it's being like it's like a politician evading and dodging and
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
What do you think, Logan?
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate. I would think that he's getting a lot of his info secondhand and never took an opportunity to really investigate it himself. So it's just he's trying to.
Well,
go ahead.
what's interesting is actually right after Nanocon, someone, Sarah Tolan, she doesn't say who, contacted her to do a stream about the content accountability network. And that was a stream that she ended up doing with Seth Andrews.
I'm sorry. Whole stream's been cutting out every now and then. Who is she?
Oh, I'm sorry. Sarah Tolan,
Okay.
who is the director of the Content Accountability Network, so CAN.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but the timing is not perfect. It's more than perfect. And I just wanted to also say that it was less than 24 hours that he cut my portion of the call and filled it in with somebody else's call, which is pretty miraculous. Usually it takes a couple days or whatnot, but nonetheless.
Yeah, you could see him looking at somebody. I don't know if you saw me making fun of him, but he kept looking over. So either somebody was talking to him or he had another.
Mm-hmm.
Cut this call. You need to cut this call.
One thing that I picked up on, because again, I'm just looking at it, but it seemed obvious to me. Couple things. He didn't want to talk about that. That's very obvious. I mean, I don't know how it could be more obvious. He did not want to talk about that. All right. And the other thing is he was pushing it off on other people who I guess he thinks are the experts. So that's, again, it was like, well, they looked at this and they decided, very, very good people looked at this.
Yeah.
It's like,
Top men.
I'm sorry. It didn't fly with me.
Now, I do not know what occurred, but before Michael Beverly got shut down, he was making a series of videos. I think I mentioned this to Lou earlier about why Seth Andrews backed out. And I think the claim was that Seth had a video promoting Nanocon and he took it down. So I don't know if that's the case or not. I hope it is, but they never got to
All right, we got
Yeah.
something here that I definitely want to address in the chat room. Okay, ways to human, and I do know that's AJ.
AJ.
And Logan, we never met till today, did we? I like in this way. I mean, we never met in person for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Scott, if we've been on a stream on Scott's channel or not.
Yeah, but we never had any in-depth
Yeah,
conversation,
never.
like at all.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you handle this, okay? Because I definitely, I really have nothing to say. But Ways to Human says Logan is a massive transphobe and stalker. Great job, Brooklyn Lou. Logan was kicked out of Jay Bundy's Discord for his transphobia. That's how bad he is. Okay. Ways to Human. I was never in that Discord, so I don't know what you're talking about. All right. But I'm going to let Logan speak for himself because I have nothing to say about what you're talking about there.
Well, I think it's funny that AJ is going to come on here, and a lot of times when I get on her posts, she will say, "This post has nothing to do with this." Well, this stream has nothing to do with me, as far as that goes, AJ.
I didn't quiz you before, right, Logan?
Yeah.
I didn't say what have you ever spoken about to different people, right?
The litmus test.
And like I said, there's a hierarchy, and even if I was a TRA, I would still be with somebody who was a transphobe to talk about this situation, and that doesn't bother me. I don't. There are very few things that I would not talk to a person about because they hold a position on something else entirely. Very few things. Racism would be one, but I don't know what to tell AJ. She accuses me of being a stalker. I asked her today to provide evidence of that. She did not. She cannot prove evidence of that because I haven't stalked anyone. Everything I've addressed is public information. And if Lou or Scott or Kyle want to hate me for supporting a woman's no, and there are women that say, no, we don't want trans women in our spaces. Yeah, and like Sumami said, AJ's a stalker. Like Lou said, anytime, I'm sending you the email. And she does. She stalks around. I asked Patty a question. That's Nancy's sister. And Patty responded, and all of a sudden, AJ's talking to me about it. I'm going, why are you looking on her page to see who she's talked to?
I will say, I'm trying to look at what AJ is writing. If you're okay with doing that too, Lou, is someone I've never met, by the way. That's cool. Just good to know. I don't even know what she wants me to say about that. I mean, if you want to talk, AJ, you can come on and talk to me directly. All right. Because I don't really know what you're getting at. Are you getting at that I should have investigated Logan and did a thorough investigation of everything he's ever done before I had him talk?
Well, I think she's saying,
is that what you're saying?
If I'm here, you're supporting every position I have. I think that's what you're saying.
I guess. I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't know where that's coming from.
I have offered.
You shouldn't platform hate.
I've offered to AJ several times and others several times to talk about this calmly. I mean, I have a 3-hour stream on my channel where I talked to a trans person from Australia, and it was fine. We didn't agree, but it was fine. But they refused to do it. Once she even did a stream with Ember and some other guy, and I knew about it like 2 hours before because she posted about it, and I said, I'd be happy to come on, and they refused to allow me to come on.
Well, let me say this, okay? I don't, if I know something nefarious, then I know it, okay? I certainly didn't know anything nefarious about Logan, all right? As far as AJ, I've not said bad words about her. If she wants to come on, she can speak, because that's how I roll. All right. And I don't agree with everyone in the atheist community about almost anything. I mean, me and Scott are buddies. But Scott, do we disagree on shit sometimes?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Okay.
That's
So, I mean, I don't know.
right. But you know, a lot of people they think, well, if you're part of my community, you know, you have to think like me. Otherwise, you don't need to be anybody special in our community. You don't need to be platformed, because I interpret your views as maybe bigotry. Very serious feeling towards, you know, empathy, being a humanist. Basically, there's a lot of humanism in atheists, and so I guess it's a kind of an emotional reaction.
Well,
And that's why this whole thing with the Nanocon, all of that, it's highly emotional because of where people come from with their identities politically, you know.
Okay. My dinner's here, so I'm going to go eat, but I'll keep watching.
All right, good, because
AJ does not want to come on.
Because AJ
me
says she
here.
doesn't want to come on
I'll be
because you're
watching.
here. All right, so maybe she'll come on when you're not here.
But, you know, I'm always happy to engage with anyone calmly. I can do it. Scott knows I can do it. I can cuss you out too, but I like to stay calm. All right. Well, this is good. I hope you'll do this next week, and I hope I'll be welcome back if we do.
I have a hard time doing lives lately. I used to do them much more often, but I just struggle with it. This was something I thought was important enough to at least speak about and throw my opinion out there.
Oh, you should read the chat.
Well,
Okay. So I'm going to go, and unless Kyle wants to say something to me.
oh no.
Okay.
Enjoy your dinner, I suppose.
Okay, thank you. I actually don't know Kyle very well, so I didn't know. Yeah, so I mean, I thought Elliot said he might be willing to come back, so that's what I thought you might be doing it again.
Oh, yeah, no, if he's willing to come back, I would do it because I'm willing to talk to people like Elliot that, you know, is going on these other platforms. And of course, I mean, the one thing that people who know me know, I don't really give a shit. I mean, I'm willing to talk to anybody. All right. I didn't screen everything in this chat because it's not how I do things. I mean, I believe in a open and free dialogue. All right. So that's just part of who I am, you know. But yeah, I mean, of course I'd be open to Elliot. All
right. So I hope AJ is now saying maybe she won't come up, but it would be fun to hear Sumami and AJ go at it. You guys take care.
All right. Bye. Well, there's room if you want to come on, ways to
Yeah, I don't give her the attention that she seeds after,
Right.
especially given the fact that she was a big component of creating the fucking website.
Yeah, I don't
know her
understand
respect
the
that she's
reason.
earned.
I don't understand the reason she created a website, but if she wants to explain it, you know, love to hear it. To answer your question, I do not know Ember personally. I did an interview with Ember quite a long time ago, and I certainly respected her, and I platformed her in the limited way that I could. I talked very nicely about her, all right? And I don't have anything bad to say about Ember, all right? She apparently disagrees with me on this, and fine. Like I said, I don't care if people disagree with me. But Scott, what do you think?
I mean, that's the only way to be about it, you know. Just be honest and be genuine. And I think that's what a lot of people respect about coming out about, you know, things when you see, you know, hypocrisy. within a community that you're part of, you know, you want to address it from the inside too, you know, and it really is a good look.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I do not know everything in the world, and I don't know everything that is, you know, going on with each person and everything they do. I see certain things. The pattern I saw was the pattern I saw.
Yeah,
so that's what I spoke about. I don't know everything about these people, nor do I want to. To me, it's like almost invasive. If I got to know everything about a person, it's like, I don't know, it gets crazy. Like, Scott, you're the person I speak to most on the internet.
right.
We chat.
Yeah.
Do I know everything about you?
No, of course not.
Do you know everything about me?
No, not at all.
But
Not at all.
We can still talk, and we even disagree a lot. We're both atheists, right?
Right.
But we disagree on things. We're not in the same place with the dualism and the non-dualism, right?
Right.
I mean, we're not that far apart, but we're not in the same place, you know?
And you wouldn't think you wouldn't expect that to be the case.
No, because then we're just zombies, right?
Yeah.
You know.
That's the beauty of, you know, the diversity of people in our culture, you know. But you know, there's a human motivation to, you know, see each other as, you know, the differences, you know, and so to be part of a group, you have to believe X, Y, and Z. You have to march to the orders. You've got to follow the leader. That's just the way that any hierarchy is really made. So it's not just religious churches that do that. It's any group. I mean, political group, political party, company, structure, you know, everything's structured in some sort of hierarchy, no matter where you look. And that's what feeds into these sort of, you know, headlines, you know.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I don't know if you remember a guy that I used to correspond with here when I was doing lives. He was the Christian guy who was, a lot of people said he was an alcoholic. I really went at it with him. All right. And shoot, his name evades me now. I'm getting old. Okay. Yeah. But there was this guy, and certainly didn't agree with anything that he said. And we went at it. All right. Now, you could say, all right, but it's ridiculous. You know, well, look, you platformed him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but it was, you know, I mean, I platformed him. You know, it's like I'm just a dude, man. All right, I'm willing to talk to just about anyone, and if I find something bad out, well, then I'm free to talk about it. You know.
Yeah, that's even makes it more interesting, and in fact, isn't that what, you know, the goal ultimately is to open up dialogue with people that disagree with you, you know, instead of shutting each other down. You know, to
me, that's like a part of it for sure. You know?
Yeah, that's what skepticism is all about, and you know, and it's confidence. You know, if something bothers you, you might have to ask yourself, why do I not want to talk about that? You know, really, it opens up a space for self-examination. But, you know, a lot of people, they already know why, you know. It's because it's a business. You know, they have to protect the business.
Yeah, and I don't have a business here.
Yeah.
So maybe that's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to build this channel, and I'd like to become much more watched. I work hard at it, but I don't need the money. That's not what I'm doing. I'm an old man sitting in my house. Right. So it's like, I mean, if I don't make a penny, it's okay.
In many ways, that's the best place to be, you know, and it's, you know, when you're doing this podcasting stuff, it seems like it's mainly for not so much for money, but for getting a message out or, getting your points out, on your channel. It's like a new freedom that everyone has. Freedom of speech has been expanded, worldwide, really. And so you have nothing to lose by hosting people that you may disagree with on certain points. And people can either like it or not like it. It doesn't really matter, because you're not running for mayor, right?
No, and I'm in a way I'm waiting to die, my friend.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years I have left. I have some illness, but the last thing I'm worried about is what some internet YouTuber thinks about me. That's like,
right.
That's just not my thing,
That's right.
So
that's right.
Hey, Sophia's in the chat.
Oh,
I see.
Well, hello, Sophia.
Sophia, would you like to come in? I would love to talk to you. I don't know if you heard this at all, but love your opinion from a woman. Let's see. I know Sophia always has a bad connection too.
Yeah.
But yeah, AJ, I just want to talk to you direct, even though you don't want to talk to me direct.
Oh,
but,
send the link. She said send the link.
Okay, let me do that. But yeah, AJ, I am just a dude, and I'm an old dude, and I just talk what I want to talk about. I'm not part of any groups. I don't get my information from a particular source. I look at everything that I encounter, and I think for myself, and that's why I'm an advocate for free thinking, right? And I don't investigate everything or everybody. I'm not a busybody, that's for sure. I don't get into people's business. All right, it's not
you didn't look at Logan's dating profile.
No, or what he said about everybody. No, I really don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the link here. This is for Sophia, if you want to pop in. Just email me. I said I will talk to you, Lou. Just email me. I just finished a live show, so I'm trying to go grab some food, have fun. All right, yeah, I'll have fun. And I'm not great with emails, but anytime you want to talk, I'm available. All right. Is Sophia still around, or did her signal go bad?
I think she has been actually having some bad signal.
Lately, that's been going on a long time.
Yeah. For the last 20 years.
Hey, Uncarved Block. I really want to know his opinion, because he pops around and he's often on your live streams.
That's Logan. Yeah.
Oh, that is?
Yeah,
okay,
that is.
I didn't even know that. See?
Yeah.
Silly goose.
That'll show you what I know.
You didn't do your investigation beforehand.
No, I didn't call investigators.
Yeah.
Look at everything I could possibly find out about a person's dirty past. I mean, no, I didn't do that.
AJ, nice to know how you feel. I guess you agree with him.
Sophia.
Hello.
It's nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Hey, everyone.
Hey, I don't know if you heard any of this. I don't know. So
yeah, I heard you talking trash about my internet. No, let me stop.
you have some crappy internet. Come on.
No, that's true. But I have that problem fixed for a while now.
Good. Did you hear any of this? Because it's an interesting thing with something that's been going on with the Nanocon and the coverage of it. Really, it's not so much like, to me, it's not about the detail of what happened in the stairwell. I don't know. All right. But I do think my video that I put up was about what I'm seeing as a pattern of something that disturbs me. And it's basically coming against the victim and trying to nitpick on what a victim may have said, and trying to say, well, that's a lie. And I definitely know firsthand that people who are victimized like this often, do those things because they're trying to cover for somebody. I mean, like I was telling the one guy in here before, I know people who have been victimized, all right, sexual abuse type of situations, and they literally were defending the one who did it. So that doesn't mean to me nothing happened,
Right. I don't know what that's, what you guys were talking about. I just tuned in. I just read the title, and no, I'm not familiar with this particular situation at all. So y'all got to fill me in.
Well, I'm going to ask you because maybe you could help me. All right. Because I'll ask you a question that might help me to understand better from a woman's perspective. All right. If you or someone doesn't have to be you, but just a woman in general is sexually abused in some way by someone they're familiar with, right? Do they often or all the time just come right out and say, this is what happened, and tell the exact story? Or is it possible they're not exactly that forthcoming? And maybe it takes a while for them to be forthcoming.
No, like a lot of times a woman may not talk about it for years or her entire life, because it could be many things. It could be because of internal shame, or they're blaming themselves, or they think that they're not going to be believed because the person that abused them is too powerful. They could be trauma bonded to that person. They could depend on that person. I mean, the list goes on. There, 9 times out of 10, a lot of victims don't come forward. And when they do, it can be years. It can be after 20 years sometimes.
Yeah.
Because
that's been my personal experience. But
yeah,
I wanted to you because you're a woman. I'm not.
Yeah, that's very true. I think more times than not, women don't really come out about it, because I mean, it's not something you want to shout from the rooftops. There's definitely a lot of shame involved with it. I personally, I'm able to speak about my abuse, but it's been years. I mean, yeah, it can take years before you feel safe or comfortable to talk about it. No doubt.
And you might defend the one who did this, especially like I'm thinking just in the cases I know, it could be your husband who did it, right? And you have this allegiance to your husband, but something could happen that was definitely, he did something very awful. All right. And you might even call the police, and maybe the police come. And then the next day you're like, oh no, but I don't want to, no, we're okay.
Yeah, that's called trauma bond. It's a trauma bond. You can be definitely trauma bonded to someone that's abusing you.
Yeah. And that's basically what I think, and that's one of the reasons I'm against calling Nancy a liar and insinuating that she's promiscuous in any way, or wants.
So who is Nancy, and what's this all about? That's the part I missed.
Oh, Nancy is a woman who had a channel, was part of a channel called the Apostate Sisters. And the channel was doing pretty good, you know, and she went to a convention, and at the convention, she was flirting with another content creator who happened to be involved in the convention itself. So to me, there's something there. It's not, it's not like there's no relationship with the convention. He was involved in the convention. And then
Not just involved.
what's that?
He's not just involved. I mean, he's the head of his own organization that promotes this event, and you know, sits as the board on that. So
Yeah. So it was, he definitely had a relationship with the event, etc. And then Nancy put out a statement saying that he threw her down the stairs, strangled her, pulled her top off, and she was bruised and, you know, had injuries, and apparently he had injury too. So I'm assuming they fell down the same stairs.
it was
But
attempted
that's
rape.
basically it. Yeah.
It was what? Attempted rape. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, the story is that she tells in her statement is that he, you know, pulled her top off. So,
And so people are calling her a liar.
yes.
Yes, girl. They made a
Wow,
whole website.
That's rich.
That part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't condone that. I tend to believe a woman when she says something like that happened to her, because from my own experience, that's not something you're just gonna say. Because it like I said, that shit is shameful. You feel humiliated when someone abuses you, and you don't really want people to know that necessarily. So
No, I think it would be horrible to I know. I mean, I would think it would be a terrifying thing to come out and say that.
absolutely. So yeah, I'm not with that to shame victims, you know.
Yeah, neither am I. That's why I made a video about it.
And I think what was brought out in that conversation, the part that I missed was all the slut shaming that was going on, I guess, online and by certain people. Tell me a little bit more of that part, because I'm not clear. I think it had something to do with Godless Engineer.
Right.
Let me tell you this, Scott, because I mentioned Godless Engineer directly in my video, and there's a reason for that, because I mentioned him because it's something I know for a fact, and it just was involving me, and it's not a big important thing.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I asked a question or two. I don't remember the direct questions. It's still up there in the comments on his video. But I asked a question, and I was told that I needed to get a grip. And then his wife told me that I'm ignorant. All right. So this obviously, to me, implied they didn't want this dialogue, right? They didn't want this conversation. Just
Right.
like we watched Seth Andrews, and I think it's very obvious he didn't want this conversation. Right?
Yeah.
So I called him out on that. All right?
Okay.
And I did hear him say things about Nancy. That I did. And again, it's just, these are facts that I know to be absolutely true, because that was, you know, directed at me.
And it fits that pattern.
Yeah, they don't want anyone to hear about it, right?
No.
Right. So it started with, well, she requested that that it not to be moved forward, and she didn't want anybody to know about that. Well, her practicing her autonomy, she changed her mind. And then it was, oh, no, you guys are still lying. That's a lie. You know, her sister's lying. Everybody's lying. And then it went to kink BDSM. Oh, she's into consensual non-consent. And it was just, they always tried to deflect shift and project a new narrative. So that gets the attention off of the perpetrator, of them and their maladaptive state of continuing this just destruction. And if anything, they still have not taken the fucking website down. I find that egregious.
I mean, that's
So
a
that
little weird.
website is dedicated to slandering her specifically?
Yes, ma'am. And
Wow.
one of the culprits is in the chat right there, ways to human, which not a human, actually dehumanizing. It's wild.
Wow, that's pretty disgusting.
Yep. Several streams about it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the website. I looked at the information. I also read Nancy's statement, 10 pages or so, really long, detailed, very detailed. And I'm well aware that Nancy said things that were not in line with her statement that she later came out with, for sure. But I'm also aware that that is extremely common. In fact, it's in most cases, that's what happens when there's, trauma involved. And I don't get it. I mean, the part like where Nancy may be promiscuous or all that, I literally could not care at all. I literally do not care who is promiscuous, who's not promiscuous. I mean, literally do not care about that. Right. So, I care about, I know myself because I've been around the block. Okay. And I've had my share of, interludes with people. All right. And I know that, and Kyle said this, and it's true. I don't care if someone is stark naked, saying, please do these things to me. All right. But then says, no, I'm not, I don't want that. All right. I know personally, I'm out of there. I'm not proceeding any further. So I'm just going by, common sense to me. It doesn't matter to me if someone is promiscuous. It's just like in a bar. I mean, Don, you see that all the time. You're trying to talk to somebody and they're, being flirtatious. And then they say, no, I don't want to go home with you. Right. I mean, these are all things that happen in real life. You don't go, oh, yes, I'm going to force myself to go home with you. Right.
The focus is always on the woman, and it's disgusting. Go ahead, dear.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's always the woman's fault. Like he could have been misreading her, because a lot of dudes absolutely do. They'll swear up and down that you're flirting and you're not even fucking flirting with that motherfucker. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That happens. That has happened to me. And I don't know if y'all ever saw the Stalker's Anthem, but he has this attitude basically, oh, I done bought them drinks for you. You coming home with me, whether you like it or not, and all this other stuff. And they try to say, oh, because I let you buy me a drink, that means I owe you poo nanny now. Like, no, I don't. Like, it's very sad, actually. Dudes can be very sad.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah. I mean, and women could do bad things too. And I get that, it's not like, women are above doing something nefarious. They could do something nefarious.
I mean, yeah, we do bad things too, but do we go around forcing ourselves on men and,
Rarely.
Rarely, I would say rarely when a guy tells us no, no means no.
Oh my gosh, yeah. If a guy tells a woman no, it usually that's the end of it, right?
Right.
No, they just build websites to shame survivors and dox the people that are standing up.
Yeah, that's
for
Now,
them.
who are these buttholes?
Yeah.
Do I know them, Lou?
I mean, it's just internet atheist influencers they seem to be people connected to a certain group. There's a group dynamic that seems very apparent to me, but
they're atheists though.
Yeah, atheists. And the pattern that I see is exactly the pattern that I see in high control religious groups when they cover for, pastors and priests and.
Oh yeah, some of those atheists can be very dogmatic.
Yeah. That's what we were just talking about. Like, it's not everybody that's an atheist is necessarily a skeptical minded person. That's altogether a different thing. They're just skeptical about one particular question, perhaps. But,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I often get Christians saying that I'm religious. I'm an atheist and I'm religious.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the idea, right? That I'm an atheist and therefore I just follow the leader, and that's what I do. But again, anyone who knows me knows that ain't the case. That is simply not the case.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's constant, I see a lot of drama these days between these top atheist speakers, people that kind of become kind of like celebrities, these celebrity atheists like Matt Dillahunty and, a whole host of these people. I can see this constant drama going back and forth on so many things. I was watching a few of those today. It's just really interesting that how humanity just kind of unfolds, just whatever groups they happen to call themselves. And atheism can be just as non-skeptical as anything else, unfortunately.
I think it's mostly an America problem, though. I don't know. Yeah. I don't never see people acting like that in other countries. I don't know what's up with America.
Right.
I think Americans have been conditioned to follow the leader. It's like the leader is a big deal in America.
I guess so.
And personally, I have never been like that. So, I mean, I know myself, I've just never been like that. I don't kiss anyone's ass.
Same here.
I know by hearing you, Sophia, you don't kiss people's ass. I know.
I'm pretty sure that I will not comply.
But yeah, it's a lot of these YouTubers become sensationalized and they become like cult leaders, and they have a lot of power. So when they put these little events together and fundraisers and all this kind of stuff, there's a lot of people that show up just for them, just to see them. It's like in church.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
I will say this.
A lot of that, I think a lot of that has to do with capitalism. They're able to capitalize off of it, so they're going to do it.
Yeah. Alliances, vows of loyalty, that sort of stuff.
Like Marquetta, right, Scott?
Yeah, Marquetta.
Like I said, the one thing here, like with Sophia and Scott, because we've talked a lot, and I don't think we like, if I feel something, I'm going to say it, and if you feel something, you're going to say it. That's just what I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how we are around here. I mean, even me and Scott have went at it, right?
Oh,
Scott?
yeah, I know you and Scott have went at it. I know that.
Yeah.
And that was not the first time. When we go at it, it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what makes, things interesting when we have a little, group like this of people that work always, on each other's channels, hosting with each other, stuff like that. The difference is, though, we acknowledge that we don't agree on these different perspectives or whatever, and it's no big deal, I think, because that kind of mindset, you don't get too attached to all kinds of beliefs anyways. It doesn't become part of your identity where it just pisses me off that someone doesn't agree with me on this thing or that, but it's so funny in these hierarchies in your normal communities, it just naturally always gravitates to that shit.
Yeah. And it's just something that's not like in my world. That's not in my world. I mean, nope. I'm just an old man going to say whatever the hell he feels like saying.
Yeah.
And I want to be respectful to everybody. That's just, that's part of it too. I want to be respectful. And if people are respectful to me, I'm respectful back. But when people tell me, shut up, go away, and you're ignorant, yeah.
Yeah.
If y'all notice, my picture changed, and I'm highlighting charm alarms. This product is exactly what it sounds like. Underneath it, it says deter a predator everywhere and anywhere on the go. This is being promoted for sale. This is in response to what happened last year. Do I need to go on? The amount of cope is dizzying. Take the fucking website down, people. Take the website down. Stop doxing people.
Ambushed. If you want to come in, I'm always here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and step down. This has been a few hours, and I don't care to share space with toxicity like that. I'm a survivor myself, and I need to preserve my juju, if you know what I mean. But thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks for coming by. And that video of Seth, that was pretty. I think
Please
that's
share.
pretty revealing. I mean,
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Anyway, there's Grace of God. Are you there, Grace of God? You there, Grace of God?
Yeah, hey, what's going on, Lou? Long time no see.
Okay, I don't recall what we talked about, but
oh, you don't remember me?
I don't recall what we spoke about, but
we spoke about atheism and theism.
Yeah, that's a common theme.
Yeah, it's been a while. You haven't really gone live in a while.
Oh yeah, I don't barely ever do that anymore.
Yeah, but we've talked. We talked a few times actually. We met
yeah, I remember your voice. I just don't remember what we spoke about.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about religion, right, and atheism, and how you came to atheism from religion.
Yeah,
and I spoke to you about how my faith was growing stronger, and believe it or not, Lou, it's grown even much stronger since the last time we talked, which was a while ago.
Yeah.
Just, God answering prayers, and
what prayers did God answer?
yeah. No, like just my individual prayers, the I don't know, again, you might not remember obviously, but I talked about how my faith was growing, and how when I would come to pray, I wasn't necessarily asking for anything, right? It was more like thanking, being grateful for what I do have. But in my mind, my heart desiring things, but not bringing it to the Lord, and lo and behold, man, I got what my heart wanted, and it's the damnedest thing, Lou. I'm very blessed, and it's a beautiful place to be in, and I'm aware that I'm speaking in this manner among atheists, and it might be unappealing, but I'm being sincere when I say that.
Okay, and I think if you know me at all, and if we had a conversation,
Yeah, you're not
you probably
antagonistic. You're
know that
supportive.
I do not care if you are getting something out of your faith, all right,
Yeah,
and that it's helping you, all right. I know
100%.
many people that their faith helps them.
For
Okay,
sure.
so that's not my thing. My thing is,
When
is it
they
real?
cause harm to others
Is it
because of it.
real? You know.
Is it real? Yeah, I think we've talked about it, and we used to talk to the one guy from California. He was a very nice guy. Do you know what I'm referring to? He's like
Which
this.
guy?
There was a guy that used to come out here with you, and he gave me like California vibes. He was always like hiking and whatnot, but he was also an atheist who was very friendly as well, like you. But yeah, I think it's real. It feels real. But I saw your video recently and this live as well regarding the atheist group, and they're trying to cover up assaults, and that I'm sure you're a smart man, Lou. I'm sure you're not shocked by that, are you? I mean,
Not
it's not
really.
just religion
No.
that does
I'm
that.
really not shocked by anything
Yeah,
ever.
yeah, it's typical.
Because I pretty much have seen it all. I mean, I was surprised in a sense because I didn't expect to see the same type of argumentation that, let's say, churches use.
Yeah,
Like I
but
didn't think that would be something I would be seeing.
I'm
Uh,
shocked to hear you say that, Lou. I'm honestly shocked because I would argue that strikes me as typical of people, of human
um,
behavior.
it is of certain people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
but
mean, it's definitely not all people.
no, but of those people, it is typical. You know,
Are
just
you
trying
talking
to
about atheists or those particular people?
what I think humans
Uh,
can be cruel to each other, and among the people that are cruel, that is a behavior that is not surprising, right? To like harm somebody and then even cause further harm, emotionally, psychologically, and so on. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I think people do that. Yeah, not again. I don't think it's a good thing, but people do it.
Yeah. Actually, Lou, interesting fact, about me anyway, I actually investigate those kind of crimes, you know, and I work with those kind of victims that are victims of SA, I guess you could say, you know?
Well,
what do you mean by you investigate them?
yeah, tell us.
Well,
What do you mean? Like,
I investigate them, like literally investigate them.
What, like you study them or?
yeah, do you go out to people's houses, or how do you do that?
I work in that capacity.
Oh, it's part of your career.
Yeah,
Okay, so you
yeah,
encounter this stuff.
yeah, regularly for quite a while now, which truth be told, Lou, actually now that I that's one of the reasons that it made me stronger in my faith, right? I mentioned to you in the past, right, that you know I've been exposed to a lot of trauma, right? And to some people, when I think some people, when they encounter so much wickedness in the world, so much evil, they tend to believe there is no God, right? Well, my reaction was the opposite of that. There has to be a God. There has to be.
I think, believe it or not, I think more people go to God than not go to God.
You think so, huh?
I do. I think not. Of course, every human being is different, so we know
Yeah,
that.
of course, of
But
course.
generally, people have problems, they reach out to God. They say, God help me.
But there are people, many people who, when they encounter so much evil and trauma, they turn away from God as well.
It does
I
go
have
both ways.
I have a completely different theory on that whole thing. I think that when we go through trauma, there's definitely a link between trauma and mysticism, which, y'all know me, I've demystified mysticism because it's just really about your nervous system. Either way it goes, the more challenges that you overcome, the more you begin to know thyself. And as a mystic, I do believe that consciousness is fundamental. And the more aware you become of that, the more you can become an alchemist of your own life and transmute things like trauma. So that's why I believe that, like Lou said, more people will actually turn to God because of trauma.
Okay. Well, that happened to me. I fall under that category where, Lou, I mentioned to you as well, Lou, you might remember this, but I started to struggle with alcohol abuse. I don't know if you remember that. Maybe not, but it was kind of it wasn't exclusively because, but my exposure was making it worse. So I was abusing alcohol and, by the grace of God, I no longer abuse
Hold
alcohol.
on a second. Ambushed, I sent you the link if you want to come in and talk. Let me do the link again.
But yeah,
Hey, Scott, do you ever know me not to talk to anybody?
Oh, hell no.
I was just saying, I'm not willing to talk. Well, that's a good one.
I do.
Sophia, have you ever known me not willing to talk?
Hell no, Lou.
Okay, well, there's the stream. If anybody wants to come in and talk, you're welcome. All right, go on.
I do want to give a little bit of a pushback here, and I'm not trying to be mean or whatever. I respect people's beliefs and all, but it just kind of irks me when believers in God say things like, "Oh, these are the things that I wanted in my heart, and sure enough, I got them," and things like that. And I'd be wanting to say, "Well, gee, thank God that God picked you out of all the starving children in Africa to bless you,"
no doubt, Sophia. I know that irks you, but what irks me is when people are irked by positivity, by positive statements. That's what irks me.
But there's nothing wrong with positivity, but do you
But it
understand
irks
what
you.
I'm saying?
What I just said irked you, though.
No, not you in particular. It's just that statement that
What I said, I didn't say I irked you. I said my statement irked you.
But
okay, and
look at it
how
this
is
way.
it positive? Let me ask you this: how is it positive that out of all people, God chose to bless you while there's still millions of starving children?
But that goes back to my point earlier of there's so much evil in the world. How can there be a God, right? Some people fall back on that, like you just did, Sophia. And I understand that statement.
That's
That's
not
a
actually
natural.
what I'm saying.
Well,
That's not.
it technically is what you're saying, Sophia. You're saying there's all these
it's not.
starving children in the world, right? So how can there be a God?
What did I actually say? What did I actually say?
You said, out of all the suffering people in the world, God chose me to bless. Per my statement, right?
Yeah, but what I'm actually saying, if you listen closely, is I'm asking, does God pick and choose who he wants to bless and who he doesn't?
I don't think that's for either one of us to say. How can I say yes or no to that question?
Do you have more
Is there
value
not
than,
people out in the world that are blessed?
do you have more value than, let's say, a kid that, gets abused every single day, lost their parents, is starving, whatever?
Well, Sophia, but that question, that's a terrible question because can I say yes to that? What am I supposed to answer to that terrible question, Sophia?
Because
Yes,
why is
I
it a
am.
terrible question? I want to
Just
know
tell the
why God.
truth, Jace. Just
No.
tell the truth.
Well,
No,
Lou, there's an obvious answer to that. Come on, Lou. There's an obvious answer to that question.
What,
I just
we're
want to know
waiting.
why
What is
God
it?
picked
Yes,
you.
I am in fact more valuable
More
Wow.
valuable than who?
than you said than a child being abused every day, right?
Or
Now,
any kind of.
if you guys aren't able, I thought atheists were very good at picking up on sarcasm. Lou,
How do
you
you
look
know I'm an
shocked by my
atheist?
answer.
I didn't even comment.
You look your facial
First of all,
expression said a lot, Lou.
how do you
No,
know that
I
I'm an
literally was
atheist?
just listening. I'm
Oh,
like,
you looked. I'm sorry, you appeared shocked for a second. I apologize.
no, I really
I'm,
didn't. I was
What
like,
difference
that's
does it make, though?
interesting.
No,
I'm
it
just saying
makes no difference at all. I just made an
how do you
observation.
how do you know that I'm an atheist though?
I don't know that you're an atheist.
Okay.
Your title says you're a mystic. Is that a form of theism? I don't know.
I
Maybe.
just want to know. I just want to know why God picked you. You know.
Yeah. I don't think I'm unique in that regard. But like I said, Sophia, if in my heart I feel like I'm blessed, right? Every day I'm blessed. Is that? I mean, is
There's
that
nothing
wrong?
wrong with that. No,
And
there's
and,
nothing
and if
wrong
I
with
feel that the Lord has blessed me every day, is that wrong?
there's nothing wrong with feeling gratitude and saying,
Towards the
"Hey,
Lord, right?
I feel I don't know about that, but I mean, you can definitely be grateful for your circumstances. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
But
I'm
that's what I
pushing back.
said.
I'm pushing back against the claim that it happened because of the Lord, because
Yeah.
He saw what was in your heart and He granted it to you. You know, because
Hmm.
that's what you were saying earlier. And so I'm just saying, all right, cool. Let's think about that. If God
Yeah.
is an all-loving God, right, and He obviously would want everyone to thrive, then
Hmm.
why are there billions of people who, have no
Yeah.
control over what happens to them, like little children?
I
Why would He
agree.
step in? Why would He step in and bless a grown
Hmm.
man who can do for himself, who's essentially actually blessing himself by his
Yeah.
own works and action, but He
Mhm.
wouldn't do for that child that can't
Can,
do for themselves?
yeah, if I could respond to that, yeah, look, you hit on a comment that I was gonna respond with in that, Lou, if you knew me, I'm one hardworking SOB, brother. So I do give myself some credit, right? I'm a very determined man.
Well, maybe that
But
explains it.
my second part to like in the response is I don't disagree. I don't I'd be hard pressed to completely disagree with your statement of there is so much evil in this world. How can there be a God? When there's children out here, as we speak, Lou, children suffering. You
Yeah,
know, but Lou,
but
but look,
a God would be allowing that. Right?
well, from what I understand, in this world, we have free will, and this is the world of
Oh
that
God, the
belong
free will
that
argument.
where Lucifer reigns, right? That's what I've understood. This is the moral
'Cause
world.
let me ask you this, grace of God.
Yeah,
Does God know everything? Is He omniscient?
I would say so. Yes.
And is
Can
God
I respond really quick though, Scott, before you continue? I would say yes, and let me just throw this out
well?
there into the wind.
I'm getting to a
I
point
love when
where
atheists say
there's a
grace of
point that
God.
you're missing, though.
Can God create a
There's a
rock
point.
that
You
is so
see,
heavy he cannot lift it?
you don't want to talk about that, though. Yeah,
About what
I
is
see
that?
you running. You don't want
How
to talk about that.
I'm running because I'm trying to make a quick
No,
statement,
you're
brother.
running because you know what I'm about to ask you.
Are you gonna ask me the rock question? Can God create a rock that is so
No,
heavy he can't lift it?
no. It's going to be
He didn't address that.
it.
He was asking
Well,
you.
Lou, come on, Lou, don't be biased, Lou. Just because
You
he's
said
your
God is
friend, don't do that.
omniscient and God
No,
is all
I'm
powerful.
just watching a conversation, and
Right,
he
but what
asked
about
you a
my part
question.
of it? Put yourself in my shoes, Lou.
Well, you should answer a question if it's
I did
directed at
answer it. I
him.
said yes. I said yes. I do believe that. Yes.
Okay, so let me finish asking you this other question. So if God is all powerful and God is all knowing, that means He knows everything that's going to happen. Even before you do it,
Yeah.
he's going to know what your decisions are going to be.
Yeah.
So where are you getting free will out of that? Because it seems like you're already determined to do God's will, whatever that is. And he knows what that is each and every step of the way. So he's responsible for everything that happens.
But is that technically true? I mean, just him, the Lord knowing does not necessarily mean that the Lord is forcing that upon me, right? If I'm making my own choices and he knows, the Lord knows my choices, how does that make it?
It means that you were going to do it regardless.
By my own volition, right?
You're not more, are you more powerful than God? Can you surprise God? Maybe
yes.
Show him something he doesn't know already?
Yes. Again, your question is an obvious one. The answer is yes.
Then he's not omniscient, sir.
Again, sarcasm.
God doesn't know everything in that case.
Again, I was being sarcastic. Now, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question that I always hear atheists ask. Can God create a stone so heavy that he cannot lift it?
It depends on how you define God. If you're defining God as awful, well, you do anything, and when you mean anything, you mean anything that's possible or impossible, then of course he could.
Okay. I think he could, but atheists seem to not like that answer. They seem that answer means that there is no God, from what I understood, right? If I say God can create a stone so heavy he cannot lift it, that means he's not all powerful, right? Well, that's what they tell me.
The difference between that example, for one thing, it doesn't relate to what you were just saying, and it doesn't really relate to free will. We're talking about free will. If people have free will and God knows exactly what you're going to do, that means you're going to do it whether you know it or not. So that's not free will.
I don't agree with that statement though at all. I mean, just because the Lord knows does not mean that he's forcing his will upon you. Just because he knows, right?
I mean, this is a well-known problem in philosophy. It's called the problem of foreknowledge.
So if I know that my kid is if my kid is running in a hallway with stairs, and I know my toddler can fall, right? I know that he's likely to fall, and he ends up falling. Is he doing my will?
Well, you said likely. In the case of God, he knows.
Well, he will fall.
What's going on.
He will fall. If my kid will fall, and I know he's gonna fall,
it's been predetermined.
So he's doing my will. If my kid falls, my toddler falls, that's my will that he falls.
That's beside the point of whose will it is. The fact is, if you don't have free will, then you can't say that you can blame evil on our free will.
How is that beside the point? That's literally the point.
Even if I granted you free will, that still doesn't explain infant deaths. It doesn't explain dying in natural disasters or animals dying. What did the animals deserve?
Well, okay, let me respond to that really quick. Lou, that goes back to my point of there's so much evil in the world there cannot be a God. It goes back to that, Lou. Ultimately, it does. Please give me that, Lou.
Let me do this.
Can you please give me that, Lou?
Maybe God is not all knowing. Maybe he's not all powerful. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's saying there is no God. Well, maybe God's a psychopath. I mean,
Lou, can you give me that? Can you give me my point, Lou?
I got to do this because I'm seeing in chat people saying they want to talk. So I did come on this stream with a particular topic, and it wasn't God.
Oh, sorry about that. I apologize.
But I want to give them any opportunity because I got to get going soon. But I want to give them any opportunity to say anything they want and talk to me directly. Hold on. So if anyone wants to come in, this is the last shot. There's the stream. That's it. Okay. If you want to talk, come in and talk. I'm not scary.
Has this girl Nancy reported the incident to the police?
Yeah, it was reported to the police, not at the time it happened, but later on.
I mean, as long as she reported it, right? If you don't mind me asking, in what part of the U.S. of A. did this occur?
Tennessee.
Okay. I would imagine Tennessee has strict laws, right? I don't know.
I don't know the laws in Tennessee. I really don't.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine that they don't take kindly to crime, in particular, that kind of crime, right?
no. I mean, obviously, there's laws against it.
Yeah.
The thing with laws is laws have to be proven. If someone is charged with a crime, it has to be proven in court. And sometimes there's not enough evidence to do that.
Yeah.
And in the case of SA, most cases do not go to court because it's usually he said, she said, and it's just not enough to convict.
Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, of course. I mean, each case is different.
Yeah.
But most people, women, do not report these incidents to begin with. All right.
You know, they say men are less likely to report them, Lou.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would report it if it happened to me. I'm not sure I would report it for sure.
They say for a man, you know, psychologically speaking, it's very difficult if they were a victim of SA.
Oh,
if
yeah.
They if they were the ones that were, you know, penetrated, if you don't mind me saying that, it's very difficult for them to come forward.
Yeah,
because of the stigma.
Absolutely.
I mean, for anybody, right? Of
For
course.
women too. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But for men, they say it's more difficult. Maybe.
Well, you don't really hear too many reports from men. So
because they don't report it.
I don't know how many men are victimized like that.
They say that a man that's like grabbed, say like walking in at night, right, and grabbed into an alley, the likelihood of them reporting an incident like that is not likely, you know? So it makes you wonder. But I mean, obviously we know that women are at higher risk of women and children are at higher risk of that because men are just very violent, it seems, you know?
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, it's a cultural thing where men, I mean, I would say that men do more of that than women. Yeah. Right. But I'm sure it's done to men too.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's underreported actually when it happens to a man. I think one of the best things.
You don't hear much about like women. A man reporting that a woman abused them sexually. You don't.
I've seen that. I've seen that occur in my lifetime. You know, in college and whatnot.
I'm sure it happens, but it's kind of rare. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how. I'm not sure, but I have seen it though, and you know, men highly intoxicated and women taking advantage of that. Believe it or not, I have seen that.
Hey, I got a story about that, but I'm not going to share.
Yeah,
because I
did you make a report, Lou?
I do have something that happened once.
Did it happen to you, Lou? Just kidding, brother.
Yeah, no, something happened, but I'm not going to share it because it's irrelevant. All right, but yeah.
I think one of the best things for someone that was victimized is, you know, therapy. Therapy is obviously, I would say, number one, even, you know, and just for victims, it's very important for them to be believed, right? To not be told that they're lying, because that is like adding salt on the wound, right? I mean, I'm speaking obvious shit here, right? But I don't know, Lou. Yeah, I just came on to, you know, say what's up to you, brother. You know, it's been a while since I last saw you, and I just thought it was for me interesting how when I last spoke to you again, my faith was growing strong, and it's even stronger today. And I look forward to waking up tomorrow and, you know, just, you know, keep going in spiritually, you know. And I'm not saying that like throwing
take
like
that, Sophia.
Yeah, I'm not throwing that like throwing a stone before I get out, because I'm gonna get going.
Hey, Grace. All right. Do know this. You can talk to me. So
yeah,
I'm not.
You're not on as much, but I got you.
And you know, I don't have a problem with people believing things. All right. I'm outspoken in what I think is false. All right, but I can assure you, in my personal life, I have people that believe exactly what you do, and they're not my enemy. So,
I will say this, Lou. I will say this to that, right? I'm a Catholic, right? If you didn't know. And every day I read the gospel based on the calendar, right? On the liturgical calendar. And I always think of like the atheists that I've talked to on the internet. I think of them often because all the gospels that are read, an atheist told me once, I bet all the gospels that you read are just the positive ones. They don't talk about how the Bible condones slavery, right? And yeah, no shit. You're not gonna hear a gospel where the masses are gonna hear, yeah, slavery is okay. That's just not something that we that they promote. A lot of the gospels that they are out there on a daily basis, Lou, are like almost like rinse and repeat. They're like the more known ones, the more like uplifting ones. It's a beautiful thing, brother. But anyway, I'm gonna get going, man. Good talking to you, and I hope that you're taking care of yourself and everybody here as well. Have a great one, guys.
Yeah, I'm cool. Have a good night.
Night.
So I'm going to put this up one more time if anybody wants to talk. All right. It should be noted I've been on here for quite a long time. So, all right. And I'm not going to be on all night. All right. But I've been on here quite a long time. And I don't avoid people. All right. And obviously to anyone. All right. So if anyone wants to talk, now is the time because I'm getting tired. And but there's the link. If anybody wants to speak, you can come on in.
I think they just talk a big game in the live chat, man.
Could be. I don't know. I mean, could be.
That's what they do on my channel. They do a lot of big talk in the chat and never call in.
Yeah, I literally open this up for anybody. I put all invited. All right, so it's the way I roll, man.
Yeah. Joel, what's going on? I see you out there, buddy. I know Joel's got some bad connection issues going on.
Yeah, these connection issues can be a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, no one seems to want to speak. Right? Yeah. I'm not judging anyone. You don't want to talk, don't talk. Talking in the stream, whatever. You want to chat on the chat room when you could actually talk to someone directly, whatever.
Cry in the live chat. Cry down in the live chat, man.
But anyway, that comment was all about that. Oh, this shows what this community is about. What really is about. Like, this was only like 5-10 minutes where we kind of veered off of the topic, and I think Lou was just trying to be generous. And
and I do literally talk to anybody.
Yeah, and it's not like we could foresee what the guy was going to come in and talk about.
No,
and
I didn't know.
I just gave a little pushback because I hear that all the time. That, oh, God blessed me and gave me what I wanted. And I'm like, well, that's real nice. Tell that to the starving children and shit, I'm
really fucking proud of you.
I want to say something because this really surprises me a little bit. Okay. I don't have a screener here, right? Somebody saying, we don't like what you're saying. You can't come here. All right.
Right.
I don't have a screener. I literally open up to anyone when I do these. I'm hardly doing lives anymore. And that's not because I'm running from anybody. It's because literally I just haven't been doing it. I have too many other things going on. All right. But here I am live. Okay.
Ready to do it.
And, some people say, well, they have something to say. Well, Now is the time.
But no one's coming in.
I don't get it. I mean, whatever. I think I'm kind to just about everybody. All right. The only time I may lose it is someone is really, being a real jerk. Right? Anyway, I'm gonna
stream Sophia.
Anything you guys want to say, and then we'll cut it.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, man. On every stream, you've got a group of trolls and contrarians, and they won't come on to talk. But that's the thing about you. You're willing to come on and talk about anything and express your views, and and that's really powerful. Especially,
we didn't see that from Seth Andrews before, right?
Right. That's right. That was
And I just
amazing.
wanted to say that, I am also a survivor, and I do not condone, victim shaming. I think that's just low tier craziness. And I think it's really good that you guys are bringing this up and shed some light on that. Like I always say, I think it's awesome when men stand up for women, and it doesn't make you a simp, because men are supposed to stand up for women, and men are supposed to like women. There's nothing wrong with that. It is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I would laugh if someone calls me a simp, because I just know otherwise. It's like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am definitely
I
not a
think
simp.
it's so ironic that we're living in a time where you have to feel bad for advocating for women, because they're a lot of times physically weaker and fall prey to these, attacks.
That's what Logan stands up for. When people call him a transphobe, but Logan is for women.
Right. Yes, I do remember that. We've had that extensive conversation. And I mean, I don't condone, males who fall prey to that, and that does happen. So we're not saying that doesn't happen.
Right.
I don't think anybody was saying that.
Anyway, I'm going to cut it. Thank you, folks. Anyone who is watching, I appreciate you even coming by. If Elliot wanted to come back one day, I definitely would go live with him. Scott, on your channel, I'm always popping in to lives.
Yeah.
I appreciate the intelligent conversation, and I'm going to say goodbye.
All right.
Everyone, have a good night.
Thanks for having us.
Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.